Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Uchiha. Destroy Konoha at the start, Night of Genocide Fallout. Chapter 21. This is Mangekyo Sharingan. Nine-Tails and Chenhui suddenly shrank their pupils after looking at each other, but before it could react, its thinking stopped instantly. Then, Naruto on the side also immediately recovered. But at this time, Naruto looked desperate, and had no intention of paying attention to the surroundings. I think. You should be able to calm down a bit too. In the illusion world, Chenhui looked at Nine-Tails coldly. Uchiha again. Nine-Tails suddenly roared, and then patted Chenhui with a paw. Chenhui sneered coldly when he saw this, and said, "It seems that you haven't figured out who is controlling the situation now. This is the illusion world I made." With that, the golden Susanoo instantly enveloped Chenhui's body. After the film is available, Susanoo has become a second form. Then, Chenhui controlled Susanoo to draw his sword, and instantly knocked Nine-Tails away tens of meters away. "Howl, the old man is going to kill you." Nine-Tails roared, and then it opened its mouth wide, and countless yin and yang chakra began to converge in its mouth. Sucker punch. Chenhui curled his mouth in disdain, and then Susanoo changed again. Susanoo first grew legs and slowly raised them, and then spread out a pair of wings covering the sky behind his back. During this period of time, Nine-Tails' attacks had also been charged, and a black, extremely condensed chakra group suddenly appeared. Then, Nine-Tails swallowed the chakra group in one bite. Tailed Beast Cannon. But just as Nine-Tails was about to roar this blow, the next moment, Susanoo appeared in front of Nine-Tails instantly. Then, Susanoo squeezed Nine-Tails' mouth. Boom. A low explosion sounded. Nine-Tails' eyes suddenly widened, and the group of chakra groups exploded in its mouth. At this time, Susanoo also released Nine-Tails, and Nine-Tails suddenly fell on the ground like a soft-footed shrimp. But as a condensate of chakra, and with almost unlimited chakra, this kind of injury is not enough to make Nine-Tails fatal. In a moment, most of the injury in Nine-Tails' mouth was recovered. It seems that you still have to cut off your chakra supply. Chenhui inside Susanoo began to seal, and at the same time, Susanoo outside also followed. Then, Susanoo snapped to the ground. Wood-style the tree world is coming. While Chenhui was in the illusion world of various kinds of madness Nine-Tails, the seal of Nine-Tails outside was quiet. With seal suppression, plus your strength is halved. Mangekyo level Sharingan is enough to completely control you. Chenhui faintly spoke to the sluggish Nine-Tails, and then he looked at Naruto. "Where it hurts, you should face reality. Don't forget, you have to avenge your parents." Vengeance. What revenge? Naruto regained his senses a little after hearing this. Chenhui said faintly, "Of course it is to revenge your parents for being killed." "Parents," Naruto murmured. Then, a murderous look suddenly appeared in his eyes. "Yes, I want revenge. But, who should I seek revenge?" Naruto slowly raised his head, and he realized that he had come to another place. Then, his pupils shrank suddenly. Nine-Tails. Chenhui nodded slightly and said, "This is the sealed space in your body where Nine-Tails is sealed. I just saw it, this guy killed my parents." Naruto knelt on the ground and snarled at Nine-Tails, "I'm going to kill you." Chenhui suddenly had a headache when he saw this. Naruto has not suppressed Ashura's thoughts, and his heart is too dark. He just shouted and killed. But Chenhui can also understand that, after all, without Ashura's thought suppression, the suffering and resentment Naruto had suffered will burst out of his brain. That's why Naruto is so irrational and self-defeating at this time. However, Chenhui didn't plan to stop Naruto. After all, it was better than being suppressed. And Naruto is likely to become his important combat power in the future. He doesn't want an irrational beast. So Chenhui saw Naruto rise from the ground, and then rushed towards Nine-Tails madly. The young man quickly passed through the cage, ran inside and kicked and punched Nine-Tails. Fortunately, Nine-Tails has been controlled by Chenhui at this time. Otherwise, even if Nine-Tails just raises his hand, Naruto will die easily at the age of only 8. It's just a kid after all. Chenhui shook his head. In this way, more than half an hour passed, and Naruto also punched and kicked Nine-Tails for more than half an hour. "How, have you finished venting?" Chenhui beckoned, and Naruto in the distance suddenly appeared beside him. Seeing Chenhui, Naruto burst into tears again. I'm so useless, I can't do anything. Somehow, even though he had only been in contact for an hour, he was more and more fond of Chenhui. Seeing this, Chenhui knelt down and patted Naruto on the shoulder. It doesn't matter, you are only 8 years old now, and Sarutobi Hiruzen and others will not wholeheartedly improve your strength in order to keep you out of control, so naturally you can't do anything. But with me, I will help you improve your strength and give you the strength to avenge. Really? Really? Naruto asked twitchingly. Of course. Chenhui smiled at him slightly. But you got the wrong target for revenge. Nine-Tails is just a tool to be controlled. There are other people who really want to kill your parents. Who is it? Naruto asked. Chenhui shook his head and said, this person has been coveting the position of Hokage for a long time, so he hooked up with someone who had a plan for Konoha and secretly planned the time for Nine-Tails to attack the village. They released Nine-Tails to destroy Konoha while your mother was giving birth, so your parents sacrificed themselves and sealed Nine-Tails in your body. This person is the top of Konoha village. You are still young and can't control yourself, so you don't need to know who he is now. When you have enough strength in the future, I will naturally tell you everything. After Chenhui finished speaking, Naruto was silent for a moment. After a long time, he faintly asked, who are you? Why do you spare no effort to tell me this? What is your purpose? Although Naruto has a thick nerve, it doesn't mean he is stupid. After venting to Nine-Tails, Naruto finally recovered his calm. Chenhui shrugged, he was not prepared to hide his identity and purpose. I am Uchiha Chenhui, and your classmate Uchiha Sasuke belongs to our clan. Not long ago, Konoha executives were afraid of me and coveted my Uchiha's power, so they united the traitor in my clan, Sasuke's older brother Itachi, and wanted to wipe out our clan completely. But everything was stopped by me. Now I am going to leave with my people. When I left, I suddenly wanted to expose the faces of Sarutobi Hiruzen and other high-level Konoha like some innocent people, so I found you. Then, are you planning to use me too? Naruto murmured, unable to tell whether it was sad or dark on his face. Chenhui shook his head and said, I just want to tell you the truth. I have now broken with Konoha. No, it should be said that it was Sarutobi Hiruzen. He still cannot represent everyone in Konoha. However, because he is Hokage, I will leave with the tribe, but with my talent, I will return to Konoha within a few years to regain what belongs to Uchiha. And you were just an 11 or 12-year-old kid, and you couldn't help me much. So, you can also understand it as, I want your future. Future. Naruto was puzzled. Yes, Chenhui nodded, I will get Konoha back in the future, so you will naturally become my subordinate then. But according to Sarutobi Hiruzen's brainwashing of you at this time, I don't want to kill a character that I used to like. Do you understand? Naruto shook his head in confusion. What Chenhui said was still a bit difficult for him to understand. Chenhui shrugged and said, it's okay if you don't understand, you still have time. But you have to be clear now, that's the next road. You can't trust anyone easily, especially. You can't trust Sarutobi Hiruzen. What I said now, after waiting for a while, you may understand that I am lying to you, so I plan to give you a present. What gift? Naruto asked. Chenhui smiled, then looked at Nine-Tails, and then Mangekyo in his eyes turned again. You should wake up too. After that, the red light in Nine-Tails' eyes disappeared, and his mind instantly returned to his body. Looking at Chenhui, who looked at him plainly in front of him, Nine-Tails suddenly understood that he had just been hit by an illusion. No wonder Chenhui would use Uchiha Madara and Hashirama's moves to abuse him. Thinking of this, it roared instantly. Uchiha again. With that, Nine-Tails slapped a paw on the cage. Boom. With the loud noise and the huge air pressure, Chenhui remained unmoved, but Naruto was so frightened that he swallowed and moved back a few steps unconsciously. Obviously, I just had a hard time, but I'm still so irritable. Chenhui shook his head, and then said to Nine-Tails indifferently, now that you are trapped by this seal, plus only half of it, even Mangekyo can easily control you. So, if you don't want to suffer, you should be conscious and calm down. Wow, unexpectedly, Nine-Tails screamed even more angrily after hearing this. But only 8 years have passed. Uchiha Madara sent you again. Uchiha Madara, even signing my summoning contract to someone else at will. Uchiha Madara. Chenhui curled his lips. He is not qualified to order me, let alone the counterfeit. I'm just for Naruto this time, you are just a bonus. So underestimate the old man. Nine-Tails immediately roared again after hearing the words. The temper is really annoying. Chenhui said coldly to Nine-Tails, warning you, if you still don't know it, I don't recommend turning you into a doll controlled by me. Hearing this, Nine-Tails felt even more angry, but just when it wanted to continue roaring, it noticed Chenhui's cold eyes and Mangekyo who turned slightly in his eyes. Suddenly, it seemed to be washed all over by cold water, and instantly calmed down. Although Nine-Tails is arrogant, but not stupid, knowing that he is at a disadvantage at this time. Boy, what do you want to do? Nine-Tails asked lowly. After Nine-Tails finally got down, Chenhui nodded in satisfaction. Then Chenhui pointed to Naruto and said, you should know him, right? Naturally, he is my host at this time, and the old man can see things outside through him. Nine-Tails slumped down like a dick, rubbing his head against his paws. Since it couldn't resist, it didn't bother to move and began to become inattentive. Chenhui said, I want you to promise me one thing, starting today to help Naruto become stronger, let him quickly master your chakra. What are you kidding? When Nine-Tails heard the words, his eyes immediately glared, and it became angry, but after seeing Chenhui's plain expression and Mangekyo, it suddenly became decadent again. It muttered secretly, Uchiha, Mangekyo. Then it said, you give up, no matter how you intimidate me, I won't let this kid control my chakra. This is the dignity of the tail beast. Hehe, don't draw conclusions so early. Chenhui said lightly. You know that the 2 tails and 8 tails of Cloud Shinobi Village, and the 3 tails of Karenin Village, they all have the same heart with the host and become the perfect Jinchuriki. What? Nine-Tails' pupils shrank. Then it disdainfully said, then these guys are really depraved, and they are willing to believe in humans. Chenhui was not surprised by Nine-Tails' attitude after hearing the news. After all, Nine-Tails can absorb all kinds of emotions in the ninja world, so naturally it understands human nature very well. Although there are a few exceptions, Nine-Tails still dismisses all humans, even Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, who can defeat it head-on. Chenhui turned around and asked, then do you remember the Uchiha Madara that controlled you 8 years ago? Nine-Tails nodded and said, although he called himself Uchiha Madara, afterwards I also noticed that his chakra was not right. He was just a fake. But he has the summoning contract that I was forced to hand over to Uchiha Madara. Naturally, because he is the successor chosen by Madara before his death. Chenhui said lightly. Successor. Nine-Tails suddenly narrowed her eyes. It seems that Uchiha Madara still has an unknown conspiracy. That's right. Chenhui nodded, and said directly without obliquely, Uchiha Madara is going to resurrect 10 tails. What? After Chenhui said this sentence, Nine-Tails suddenly shrank and couldn't calm down. How do you know about 10 tails? Chenhui said faintly. Don't worry about how I knew it, I think you should understand the conditions for the resurrection of 10 tails. Nine-Tails is silent, it naturally knows the conditions for the resurrection of 10 tails. That is to use the Gedo statue to swallow the 9-tailed beasts including it, and then 10 tails will be able to return to the ninja world. But soon, it regained its inattentive look. So what? That counterfeit doesn't have the strength of Madara. If you want to collect our 9-tailed beasts, you have to face the resistance of the 5 great nations. Although the counterfeit has a pair of Mangekyo, he still can't afford to turn a lot of waves. Indeed, Chenhui nodded irresponsibly. The strength of that counterfeit is indeed not enough to provoke the entire ninja world. But he is very smart and joined an organization. In that organization, there are several S-level Renin from each ninja village, and their strength is not weak. Furthermore, now that organization has begun to prepare a plan to capture the tail beast. Nine-Tails snorted coldly. So what? Once their plan is leaked, the 5 nations will immediately join forces. At that time, with their rebellious forbearance, how could they deal with the combined attack of the 5 countries? Also, Gedo statue is not so easy to obtain. It's impossible for them. Chenhui shrugged and said, it's natural to rely on some rebellious tolerance, but who makes them have a good leader? Their leader, but there is Samsara. Eyes. Ah, with Rinnegan, I think the Gedo statue shouldn't be a problem. And the so-called 5 Nations Alliance. Rinnegan. Nine-Tails suddenly shrank her pupils. But soon, it relaxed again and said, although I don't know where you obtained these 1,000-year-old secrets, if you want to plan me with this, you really chose the wrong person. In the current ninja world, if you want to get Rinnegan, you need that power, plus Uchiha's Sharingan, to awaken. And in the ninja realm now, that kind of power is impossible to appear. Chenhui said faintly. You don't need to be circumspect, you are talking about the power of yin and yang of the 6 paths, right? Nine-Tails was a little shocked, and secretly said, it seems that this guy knows a lot. But on the surface it still pouted and said, so what if you know? Can you still go to Sage of 6 Paths and let him give it to you? Chenhui couldn't deny a smile, and said, why is it so absolute? The power of 6 yin and yang is not only Sage of 6 Paths. Didn't he still have 2 sons? Then, without waiting for Nine-Tails to speak, Chenhui took out the small group of Ashura's chakra he left for Naruto. This is Ashura's power. Feeling this familiar breath, Nine-Tails suddenly opened his mouth. Yes, Chenhui nodded, you should know that chakra, the 2 sons of Ludao, will continue to reincarnate in the ninja world. And in this life, Naruto is Ashura. This, Nine-Tails swallowed and spit, it began to believe what Chenhui said before. Chenhui ignored Nine-Tails' expression, he said to himself, the last lives of Ashura and Indra were Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. Nine-Tails secretly said, no wonder they 2 mortals have practiced to such a degree, it turns out that they are also the reincarnations of Ashura and Indra. Chenhui continued, Uchiha Madara got a piece of Senju Hashirama meat the last time he took you to attack Konoha. After that, he used Izanagi to fake death to escape, hiding in the shadow of the ninja world, waiting for Rinnegan's awakening. But it wasn't until his life was about to come to an end that he successfully awakened Rinnegan. Of course he was unwilling to die like this, so he transplanted Rinnegan to a Uzumaki child and found a spokesperson, the one you saw 8 years ago. When the time is right, his spokesperson will control the Uzumaki people, use Rinnegan to resurrect Madara, and then resurrect 10 Tails. At that time, you won't have to say more about your fate than I did, right? Speaking of this, Nine-Tails has completely believed what Chenhui said. But as a noble tail beast, it didn't want to just bow its head to Chenhui, so it simply closed its eyes and stopped talking. It seems that you don't want to cooperate anymore, Chenhui said lightly. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, I have a way to get Naruto to get you out of his body without dying. It's just that, when 10 Tails is resurrected, there will probably be no such thing as 9 Tails in the world. With that said, Chenhui pulled Naruto with a dazed face and wanted to leave. And many more. At this moment, 9 Tails finally couldn't help but speak. It didn't want to return to 10 Tails, so his will would completely disappear. Chenhui took Naruto and turned around again, only to see 9 Tails fixedly looking at them. It asked in a deep voice, if you follow your statement, Uchiha Madara will definitely be resurrected in the end. At that time there was no Senju Hashirama, I don't think anyone in the ninja world can stop him. That's not necessarily, Chenhui sneered. I am already Mangekyo Sharingan, and I have 2 pairs of other Mangekyo in my hands. By then swallowing the pupil power of these 2 pairs of Mangekyo, I will be able to obtain the eternal Mangekyo. And Uchiha Madara's resurrection will take at least 7 or 8 years. During this time, I have time to absorb the 6 yin and yang powers of Ashura and Indra. When Uchiha Madara is resurrected, maybe I will be able to awaken Rinnegan. So, you now have 2 choices. First, cooperate with me to help Naruto improve his strength, and I will protect you when that happens. Secondly, refuse to cooperate. I will change you back to 10 Tails without Uchiha Madara. After all, becoming 10 Tails Jinchuriki is also very tempting to me. Chenhui has said this, 9 Tails naturally knows which one he should choose. But it still used chakra to avoid Naruto and asked Chenhui, why did you spare no effort to help this guy Naruto? Chenhui's interesting Kaido. I just want to see Naruto standing on the Konoha ruins. It must be interesting. 9 Tails was silent, and Chenhui looked at it quietly. For Chenhui, it is unnecessary for 9 Tails to agree or not. After all, he has a system. When that time comes, his strength is definitely enough to crush everything. After a long time, 9 Tails said, I promise you. A wise choice. Chenhui smiled unsurprisingly. He has said this, if Nine-Tails still disagrees, then it is really stupid. Suddenly, Chenhui squinted and smiled. Since you have agreed to accept my protection, should you pay some protection fee? Huh, Nine-Tails was taken aback. What is it? Chenhui said to himself. I'm not greedy, just give me some roots, it's nothing to you. When Nine-Tails heard this, the corners of her mouth twitched. What do you mean by nothing? Obviously it hurts the bones, okay. That's its origin. Nine-Tails asked quietly, did you have this idea from the beginning? No, no, no. Chenhui waved his hand and said, I just had a whim. After all, if I had this idea at the beginning, I would just grab it. When Nine-Tails heard this, his heart became even more depressed, and it whispered, Mangekyo is amazing. But for it at this time, the origin is nothing at all. After all, it does not need to be hands-on, and the origin will be made up by itself in a few years. Then I'll give you some. Nine-Tails sighed, but everything went wrong today. After that, Nine-Tails' figure shrank by a third in an instant, and at the same time, a group of scarlet chakra floated upward. Outside, Chenhui's body once again swept into Naruto's body. After taking out 1/3 of the origin of Nine-Tails, he sealed it in a scroll again. The harvest tonight is really good, 2 pairs of Mangekyo, Ashura Chakra, and Nine-Tails origin. Beautiful. Inside the sealed space, Chenhui smiled and looked at Nine-Tails. Don't worry, I am very reputable. Since you agree to me, then I will never let you be transformed into 10 tails. Even, I can give you freedom then. That's good. Nine-Tails lay down rather tired. 1/3 of the origin was given all of a sudden, and it is now also very damaging. However, Nine-Tails didn't care about Chenhui's desire to let it go free. After all, this year, it has become accustomed to human greed, how could anyone not covet its power? That's right, Chenhui asked suddenly. I remember your chakra can sense each other's good and evil, right? Nine-Tails nodded, there is nothing to hide. Yes, because I can absorb all kinds of emotions in the shinobi world, so I can also judge other people's inner good and evil based on this. But you are an exception. I can't feel any thoughts in your heart from you. It's impossible for you to perceive it. Chenhui shrugged. Then you can share this ability with Naruto from now on, so that he can see what the real world is. Okay, Nine-Tails responded, and then a burst of golden chakra instantly poured into Naruto's body. Looking at Naruto, who is still unknown, Chenhui said, now that you have the ability to perceive good and evil, use this ability to observe Konoha. You are a smart boy, I think you should know what secrets you have that you can't tell. I will not conceal the fact that I came to see you tonight. When you see Sarutobi Hiruzen, you will tell him, I have told him all about your life experience. Then you can use this ability to perceive good and evil to see who your trusted, grandpa 3rd generation, is really. But don't worry, Sarutobi Hiruzen at this time dare not really touch you. Are you leaving? Naruto was a little bit dissatisfied, although it was only a short time to get along, but now he is inexplicably dependent and trusting in Chenhui. This is not what Chenhui used to illusion Naruto. Naruto has suffered from all kinds of cold eyes and hostility from the villagers since he was a child, so he is very sensitive to the attitudes of other people. In the past, because of the influence of Ashura Chakra, he couldn't mention the maliciousness to other people, so this ability didn't show much. But now the system has completely sealed Ashura's thinking, and Naruto's talent that he has cultivated since childhood has become his basis for judging whether the opponent is friendly. Although Nine-Tails' sense of good and evil is useless to Chenhui, Naruto can hear the sincerity in Chenhui's words. Regardless of the future, Chenhui does not have any bad intentions towards him at this time, and Chenhui is the only one who is willing to listen to him and treat him sincerely in these years. That's why Naruto has such trust in Chenhui at this time. Chenhui said faintly, I will take my people to leave the land of fire, but within a few years, I will return to Konoha. And in the years when I haven't returned, you can take a good look at the true colors of the people in the village, and by the way, determine your own position. Learn to use the power of Nine-Tails. This is also a gift from me. In any case, it will be your future support for the Nine-Tails world. And this. With that said, Chenhui took out the small group of Ashura's chakra again. This thing will only be discussed when we meet next time, you can't merge it yourself. After all, Chenhui reintroduced Ashura's chakra group into Naruto's body. With a systematic seal, without Chenhui's help, no one in the entire ninja world can help Naruto fuse, not even Sage of Six Paths. Before Naruto's position was determined, Chenhui felt that it was enough for him to have 9 tails. After all, although Chenhui has confidence in subduing Naruto, he still needs the necessary precautions. He doesn't want to block his return to Konoha in the future for his own sake. After doing all this, Chenhui's figure instantly disappeared in front of Naruto and 9 tails. At this time, 9 tails also looked at Naruto. "Boy, I can feel your hatred for me. It seems that this guy has already told you what happened back then." Naruto said in a low voice, "You killed my mom and dad." 9 tails nodded, and said without evasiveness, "When I killed them, I was not controlled, so I did kill them." "Why?" Naruto shouted in an extremely low tone. 9 tails was unmoved, and said lightly, "Because I want freedom. Since I was created by Sage of Six Paths, I have been silently hidden in the ninja world according to his will, guarding the ninja world which was very weak at that time. But when Sage of Six Paths passed away and his 2 sons passed away one after another, the ninja world was in chaos. Sage of Six Paths has given me an ability to absorb the emotions of people who are floating in the world of ninja, so as to purify the world. But you humans have so much greed, even I am a little stunned, and even my chakra has begun to be full of violence. In order not to destroy the shinobi world, I chose to hide in the depths of a dense forest. But the greedy humans still found me. They tried to use all means to gain my power, and in the end they were all beaten and run away by me, but my whereabouts were still exposed. Finally, decades ago, Uchiha Madara was attracted. But Uchiha Madara eventually lost to Senju Hashirama. Senju Hashirama said that my strength is a hidden danger to the ninja world, so he sealed me in his wife's body. I just lost my freedom inexplicably like this. I think I haven't done anything to harm the ninja world, at most I kill those who are greedy for my strength. Then, Konoha controlled my power to slaughter other enemies in Shinobu village, and then attributed all the guilt to me. Do you think I should lose my freedom?" After listening to 9 tails, Naruto was silent. At this time, he is no longer the nerve-wrenching Naruto in the original book. Tenten clamored to be Naruto of Naruto. The emotional explosion that has been suppressed by Ashura's will, coupled with the influence of Ashura's will on him over the years, has made his mind more mature at this time. 9 tails said lightly, "It is true that your parents were killed by me, and your thoughts don't matter to me. In the next few years, I will let you master my power as quickly as possible. When all this is over, we will have nothing to do with you." Naruto took a deep look at 9 tails, and then his consciousness returned to his body. He opened his eyes, and Chenhui was not around. Naruto murmured, "Is it gone?" He was silent for a moment, and then fell asleep again. The experience tonight made him extremely exhausted, and he had to take a good rest. On the other side, Chenhui has returned to the mountain where he and Uchiha Peak and others were separated. Looking at the Konoha that was in ruins below, Chenhui murmured, "Next time, it won't end so easily." After all, his figure disappeared instantly. In a cave, Chenhui is sitting cross-legged. Chenhui was not ready to go to Uchiha Feng and others immediately. After careful consideration, he decided to digest the harvest first. Chenhui entered the system panel and ordered, "Receive task rewards. Task 3. Lead the tribe to resist and show the true power of Uchiha." Completed. Start settlement task reward. Congratulations to the host. Perfect Sage Mode, Mysterious Secret Art Scroll X1. After the system was finished, a black scroll appeared in Chenhui's hands. At the same time, a torrent of knowledge flooded into Chenhui's mind. After absorbing this knowledge, Chenhui's eyes suddenly shined. Is this the perfect sage mode practice method? Try it. With that said, Chenhui immediately put the black scroll in his hand aside. Then, according to the method in that message, he began to feel the natural energy free in his surroundings. Because it is a perfect cultivation method, coupled with the blessing of Mangekyo, Chenhui quickly felt the natural energy, so he immediately guided it into the body. The perfect sage mode given by the system is different from the sage mode of the 3 holy lands. Its most difficult part is to perceive natural energy. As long as this step is achieved, the rest will be a matter of course, so there will be no danger. So soon, Chenhui's eyes showed a touch of golden eyeshadow. As this sage mode, Chenhui opened his eyes, feeling the new weak energy in his body, and a smile appeared on his face. Go try how powerful it is. After all, Chenhui's figure disappeared instantly, and he appeared outside the cave in the next instant. Then, he quickly began to seal the seal, which was completed in less than a second. Sage Art Fire Style Great Fireball Technique. In the next moment, Chenhui spit out a fireball that was almost golden in color and tens of meters in diameter. Then, the fireball quickly slammed into the stone wall not far in front. Boom! After a loud noise, I saw that the stone wall that was more than 20 meters high had disappeared, leaving only a squeaking magma on the ground and a huge crater more than 10 meters wide on the ground. Seeing this, Chenhui suddenly shrank his pupils and took a breath. His Sage mode is really scary. Sage Art Great Fireball is not only several times larger than the normal one, but the temperature inside it has also been qualitatively improved. However, Chenhui quickly returned to calm. After all, it was produced by the system. It is more powerful than the Sage mode of the three holy sites. It is not surprising that it can do this. Feeling the chakra that has recovered from the body, Chenhui secretly said, "It seems that the practice of Sage mode will have to be added to daily practice in the future. But fortunately I can shadow clone, and it is not too much trouble." The perfect Sage mode practice method given by the system is very different from the original book. The fairy chakra in Chenhui's body is connected to the outside world. As long as the fairy chakra in his body is consumed, it will be quickly and automatically replenished from the outside world. But the amount of supplement is up to the original amount of chakra in his body, so what he needs to do in the future is to increase the capacity of chakra in his body. Expand the capacity that could only hold a cup of water to the extent that it can hold Wang Yanghai. At that time, it doesn't matter if he keeps Sage mode all the time. And now, as long as Chenhui still has chakra in his body, he can enter Sage mode immediately with just a thought. Not bad, it deserves to be produced by the system. Chenhui nodded in satisfaction, and then he had a thought, exiting Sage mode and returning to the cave again. Next is this scroll. Chenhui picked up the scroll he had placed aside, and began to quickly scan the content inside. At the same time, the system also began to introduce him. The method of Sharingan practice, up to the Eternal Mangekyo level. After using this practice method, the practitioner will be 100% loyal to the host, and at the same time, the practitioner will automatically obtain the abilities acquired by Mangekyo, and the host will automatically acquire it. Ordinary Uchiha bloodline practitioners can start practicing this technique at the age of 5. After 1 year of study, you can start 1 Guyu Sharingan. After 3 years of study, you can start 2 Go Jade Sharingan. After 3 years of study, you can start 3 Tomo Sharingan. After another 6 years of study, you can start Mangekyo Sharingan, and then you can start Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan after another 12 years of study. Uchiha with strong blood and high talents will practice faster. Before reaching the Eternal Mangekyo, the practitioners can only practice to the point where they are 1 level lower by the host. After reading the scrolls and listening to the introduction of the system, Chenhui suddenly took a breath. This practice method is so powerful. According to the system, after practicing this method, Uchiha people can start a Sharingan at 6 years old, a Sharingan at 9 years old, a Sharingan at 12 years old, 3 Tomo Sharingan, an 18-year-old Mangekyo Sharingan, an Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan at a 30-year-old. And this is just a tribe with average talent. If the talent is strong, the speed of training will also increase. This is simply tailor-made for the current Uchiha clan. Leaving and destroying Konoha, Chenhui will naturally not be satisfied with the status quo. He has now given birth to his own ambitions. That is, lead that group of people to unify the world of ninja. To do this, Chenhui has to face the entire ninja world, but when he is strong, he will naturally sweep everything. And the group of people who pressed everything on him were naturally his help, and they were the most trustworthy people who would manage the ninja world for him in the future. But at this time these people are still too weak, and only 4 years from the beginning of the plot, and only 8 years from the chaos of the ninja world. In such a short period of time, this group of people could not improve much strength, and naturally they could not provide him with much help. But now it's different. With this secret method, the strength of that group of people will be greatly increased. Especially the talented Uchiha Peak and Uchiha Spring. If you devote yourself to practice and add his help, you might be able to open the Eternal Mangekyo in 8 years. At that time, they will be able to take their own roles and share a lot of pressure for Chenhui. It seems that the system is also encouraging me to unify the ninja world. Chenhui smiled slightly, and then carefully kept the scroll close to his body. Next is the highlight. A gleam of light flashed in Chenhui's eyes, and then he opened the ninja bag and took out the 3-point seal scroll from it. He first picked up the first scroll, spread it out flat, and made a seal. Then he covered the center of the scroll with his hand and said, "Solve." The next moment, 4 bottles suddenly appeared under Chenhui's palm. The 4 bottles are naturally the 2 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan from Fugaku and Shisui captured by Chenhui. The system, can you help me directly integrate the pupil power of these 2 pairs of Mangekyo into my Mangekyo? Because he has no relationship with Fugaku and Shisui, Chenhui can't guarantee that transplanting their eyes will get their pupil power. What's more, if he can only change his eyes, Chenhui would rather give up. After all, he doesn't want to give up his original organs and transplant other people's organs to himself. Besides, he still has a system. As long as you use Mangekyo a lot, it will naturally advance to the Eternal Mangekyo. At most, it means losing one ability, and it is not expected to have a great effect in the future. For this reason, it is not worthwhile for Chenhui to change his eyes. The system's answer is still so simple and clear, but Chenhui is very happy after hearing it. Great. A smile appeared on Chenhui's face, and then he immediately opened the mouth of the bottle and took out Fugaku's Mangekyo first. System, start to absorb it. As soon as the voice fell, the Mangekyo of Fugaku in Chenhui's hand changed. I saw that from Fugaku's Mangekyo, thin gray lines began to emerge, condensing into 2 gray fog balls above Mangekyo. At the same time, Fugaku's Mangekyo also began to lose its luster. Obviously, these gray lines are Fugaku Mangekyo's pupil power. When the last pupil power was extracted, Fugaku's Mangekyo also instantly turned into fly ash and dissipated from Chenhui's palm. Then, those 2 pupil forces flew towards Chenhui's eyes. Chenhui was not prepared to stop, so the 2 pupil powers quickly merged into Chenhui's Mangekyo. In the next moment, Chenhui felt his eyes cool, and then his own Mangekyo's pupil power began to increase rapidly. At the same time, Chenhui can feel that he has 2 more skills. It is the 2 pupil skills of Fugaku. There is a systematic shot, so the devouring pupil power goes very smoothly and quickly. After a while, Chenhui opened his eyes again, but he frowned. Unexpectedly, after absorbing Mangekyo from Fugaku, I haven't reached the bottleneck of Mangekyo. It seems that my pair of Mangekyo Sharingan has great potential. It still needs to absorb the pupil power of 2 Mangekyo Sharingan to advance. Thinking of this, Chenhui did not hesitate, and immediately took out Shisui's Mangekyo. After absorbing Shisui's pupil power and obtaining Shisui's 2 pupils, Chenhui's Mangekyo finally reached the bottleneck. It is detected that host Mangekyo Sharingan has reached the bottleneck. Is it a breakthrough? Breakthrough. Mangekyo Sharingan succeeded in breaking the bottleneck. Congratulations to host for acquiring Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. As soon as the voice of the system fell, Chenhui only felt that the eyes that had absorbed the 2 pairs of Mangekyo and the pupil power had reached the extreme. At this moment the pupil power within it had increased again, and it had increased several times in a moment. However, because it was not a transplanted Mangekyo, the Chenhui Mangekyo pattern has not changed. When the pupil power of both eyes stabilized, the chakra in Chenhui's body also began to rise sharply, and soon reached the level of the late stage of the film. Feeling the strength in his body several times stronger than before, Chenhui couldn't help but clenched his fists in excitement. However, he did not immediately experiment with the new power, because at this moment there are still 2 gains that he needs to absorb. After that, Chenhui quickly closed the seal and opened the other 2 scrolls at the same time. I saw 2 golden chakra groups suddenly appeared. These are Ashura's chakra and Nine-Tails chakra. Holding the 2 chakras, Chenhui asked the system again. System, can I absorb these 2 groups of chakra directly at this time? The system quickly responded. Ashura's chakra contains 6 levels of power, so it is not recommended that the host absorb it at this moment, otherwise it will lose a lot of energy. The system can help the host to seal it in the body and slowly let it blend into the host's body, and the host can completely absorb it after 6 years. The chakra group of Nine-Tails is unlimited, with eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and the host can swallow it directly to enhance the quality of the host's chakra. However, the system recommends that host seal it up like Ashura's chakra, and slowly merge and absorb it, and it will be completely absorbed after 1 year. In this way, when the chakra that absorbs the other 8-tailed beasts is merged, the host can obtain 10 tails chakra level 6. The system analyzed all the pros and cons in detail. After a little thought, Chenhui decided to follow the system's suggestion and seal the 2 chakras and slowly merge and absorb them. Therefore, Chenhui immediately said, "Then seal these 2 chakras and slowly absorb them. Anyway, for the current time period, it is enough to have eternal Mangekyo." After Chenhui finished speaking, the 2 chakras in his hand immediately merged into his body along his arms. Afterwards, Chenhui only felt a warm feeling in his body, and the chakra in his body rose again under this warm feeling. But soon, the warmth became extremely delicate. When everything was over, Chenhui slowly stood up, and a powerful pressure burst out of his body. This is due to the sharp increase in Chenhui's strength, which has caused some energy loss. But with the eternal Mangekyo present, Chenhui quickly adapted to the skyrocketing strength. When everything was calm again, Chenhui immediately said, "System, check my attributes." Properties panel has been opened. Host, Uchiha Chenhui. Age, 13 years old. Blood succession boundary. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, mirror space, Gods Pro, distinguished heavenly gods, foreseeing the future, primary sage body, from Ashura chakra, in natural evolution. Ninjutsu. Sage mode, Wind style spiral shuriken S, big spiral wheel S, fire style firefighting A, Uchiha swordsmanship S. Chakra. Shadow level peak, self, late genin, self, Shanshu chakra, Ashura chakra, 6 ways, sealed state, Nine-Tails chakra, early super shadow, sealed state. Combat evaluation. Super shadow midterm. Seeing the evaluation of combat power given by the system, Chenhui's eyes suddenly flashed with light. The strength of the Super Shadow rank, in the current ninja world, unless the 5 shadows team up, otherwise Nagato can beat me. Chenhui is very satisfied with the strength he has at the moment, and it is not in vain that he has gone to great lengths to get these 4 things. Next, I should also go to Quanquan and them, and I have to quickly get a base area. Thinking of this, Chenhui instantly appeared outside the cave, and then a spiral shuriken directly destroyed all the traces around him. There is still Black Zetsu in the ninja world. He doesn't know whether he can detect Black Zetsu's signs at this time, so he has to deal with it carefully. After doing all this, Chenhui's figure disappeared instantly and galloped towards the direction of Uchiha Peak and others. After Chenhui's strength rose greatly, he left with satisfaction, but at this time Konoha was still surging. Itachi walked towards a room step by step. He was going to see Danzo. Those Uchiha people who chose to stay in Konoha have been settled by Itachi at this time. But if there is no Danzo's order, they are not allowed to walk around in the village at this moment. For this reason, the last group of people at the root hides in the dark and stares at every move of the Uchiha tribe. At this time, Itachi went to see Danzo, because it was his brother Sasuke. Soon, Itachi came to the door of the room, and then directly reached out and pushed open the wooden door. Squeak. Inside, Danzo was standing with his back to Itachi. The gloomy environment made it impossible to tell how many people were hidden in the dark. But Itachi didn't care either. He squinted and asked, "Danzo, where is my brother?" Danzo turned around, his right eye now wrapped in bandage again. Danzo said lightly, "When you complete the task, you will naturally see him." Hearing this, Itachi felt bad at once, and he even asked, "What do you mean?" Danzo still said flatly, "Itachi, you are a smart person, so naturally you know what I mean." Itachi's face twitched, and he already understood what Danzo meant. Let him continue to complete the task, destroy the Uchiha clan. He suddenly angered. They were all willing to betray Chenhui and stand on Konoha's side just now. What you do now is to unload the grid and kill the donkey. Are you not afraid that those who know will stray from Konoha? Danzo said solemnly. This is not something you should worry about, you just need to do your job well. Although those people just chose to stand on Konoha's side, they saw Konoha's momentum and thought Chenhui would definitely lose. But what they didn't expect was that Chenhui's strength would be so heaven-defying, and it would forcefully suppress the five of us together. When Chenhui asked you to make a choice just now, although the old man was in a coma, he still perceives the outside world, so the old man is clear about their real thoughts, and you should be clearer too. Konoha has just withstood such a big blow. For the sake of Konoha's stability, the old man does not allow such a bunch of unpredictable wall grass to stay in Konoha. After Danzo finished speaking, Itachi was silent for a moment. He also looked at the performance of those tribesmen before, so there was nothing wrong with Danzo's words. This group of people was indeed a factor of instability in Konoha. But when he just saw Fugaku doing his best to save him, he placed his family on the village for the first time. He didn't want to do anything like that of exchanging blood for the so-called peace. Therefore, at this moment Itachi wanted to turn around and leave. But what about Sasuke? When Danzo saw Itachi was silent, he gave a cold snort. I give you two choices. One is that you live with your brother Sasuke and the others die, the other is that you stand on the side of the family and welcome Konoha's extermination. Now Anbu has surrounded Uchiha. Before dawn, if your group of people are still alive, I will kill your brother first and then directly wipe Uchiha. Hearing that Danzo threatened Sasuke, Itachi became angry and opened Mangekyo Sharingan directly. At this moment, at least Jonin's coercion over the dozens of times instantly enveloped him. Itachi suddenly woke up. Of course, he was not afraid of these people taking action. With Mangekyo in his body, Itachi didn't think that this group of Jonin could stop his actions. But once he does it, his brother Sasuke will definitely be in danger. Thinking of this, Itachi suppressed the anger in his heart, and Mangekyo also changed back to a three-goad jade. At this time, the coercion disappeared in an instant, but Itachi could detect that dozens of vigilant eyes were still staring at him. Itachi asked in a deep voice, "Where is Lord Third Generation?" "I want to see Lord Third Generation." Danzo said lightly. "Hiruzen's arms were cut off, and I have arranged the best medical ninja to treat him. Before he left, he temporarily gave me the power of Hokage, so now I have the final say about Konoha. You are a smart person, you should know how to choose. There are still 5 hours before dawn. Think about it." After speaking, Danzo turned around again and stopped looking at Itachi. Itachi was silent for a moment, and then walked out of the house with a gloomy expression. Itachi walked in slowly in a dark and no man's land. Itachi faintly said to the air, "Come out, our mission continues. It looks like Danzo threatened you with your brother." A voice came, and then Obito's figure instantly appeared next to Itachi. Itachi did not speak, tacitly accepting Obito's problem. Just after leaving Danzo, he went to meet Fugaku and spoke out all Danzo's threats. Fugaku chose to accept Danzo's order for him and the Sasuke brothers. After all, Uchiha at this time, facing the ninja who was full of anger after the destruction of thousands of Konoha and did not know how to vent, absolutely had no resistance. The end of a forced confrontation is to die together. And if Itachi does it himself, then at least he and Sasuke can survive. After persuading Itachi, the Fugaku and his wife chose to self-discriminate and did not want Itachi to bear the name of father-killing. So now, Itachi has approached Obito again, wanting his help. After listening to Itachi's simple explanation, Obito said lightly, "Since it's decided, let's do it, it's almost dawn." Itachi nodded, and then Obito disappeared instantly. In the gloomy Uchiha tribe, the group of people can't sleep in fear, they don't know what their destiny will be. But soon, a scream resounded through the clouds, and Itachi and Obito started their actions. A group of people wanted to resist, but in front of the two shadow classes, Itachi and Obito, and the two Mangekyo, their resistance had no effect at all. The screams were endless, but with the barrier imposed by the roots, the screams of these people did not reach the outside. As Chenhui said, the fate of this group of people has long been doomed. Not far from the Uchiha clan, Sasuke was rushing towards home frantically. After school, he was stunned by a root, and when he woke up, the root made up a lie about the period and told him. The root said, Chenhui intended to lead some Uchiha people in a rebellion, but was discovered by his father Fugaku, and then joined forces with Konoha to resist the rebellion. Now that the rebellion has subsided, Chenhui fled Konoha with the few remaining tribesmen. After listening to the root's statement, Sasuke hurried to the house because he was worried about his parents and brother. This is what happened. At this time, the slaughter of Itachi and Obito had already ended, and the roots had also evacuated from the enchantment, so Sasuke entered the clan realm directly. Looking at the clan land full of blood and no sound, Sasuke suddenly noticed something was wrong, and he hurried to the house. On the telegraph pole in the distance, Itachi was watching this scene indifferently. When Sasuke finally approached the house, Itachi's figure disappeared instantly. Squeak. Yeah. Sasuke opened the door cautiously, but the next moment, the images inside instantly made his pupils shrink. Inside the house, Fugaku and his wife were already lying in a pool of blood. Dad, Mom, Sasuke screamed, then rushed forward quickly. But no matter how he yelled and shook, the Fugakus couldn't respond to him. Da, da. At this moment, a crisp footstep suddenly sounded in front of Sasuke. Sasuke was shocked, and then quickly raised his head, only to see a figure holding a knife slowly approaching him in the shadow. When Sasuke saw this, he was frightened and backed frantically. But soon, he discovered that the figure in the shadow was his brother Uchiha Itachi. Then, Sasuke hurriedly asked, "Brother, haven't you put down the rebellion? How could Mom and Dad? What the hell is going on? Who did it?" Itachi coldly watched Sasuke screaming, then threw a shuriken and brushed it from Sasuke's side, interrupting Sasuke's words instantly. In the next instant, a blood stain appeared on Sasuke's body. Sasuke swallowed and spit, looked at Itachi in shock, and said, "Brother, why? It seems that you already know what happened before." Itachi said coldly. "Yes, I killed my parents and the people outside." In this scene, Itachi asked Danzo to cooperate with him in order to make Sasuke treat him as an enemy and then quickly improve his strength. For this reason, Itachi chose to bear the charge of killing his father. Sasuke looked at Itachi with a shocked look and shouted, "What did you say? My stupid brother." Itachi looked at Sasuke coldly, then his left eye glared and instantly pulled Sasuke into the month set by him. Then, Sasuke saw the previous scene where Chenhui used his own strength to fight against the 5 great shadows. After that, it was the scene of Itachi slaughtering the Uchiha tribe and the Fugaku couple falls. After watching all this, Sasuke suddenly hugged his head and fell to his knees, murmured in his mouth. Why did you kill Mom and Dad and the people?" Itachi said coldly. "In order to test my fitness. Detector measurement." Sasuke raised his head and looked at Itachi angrily. "For this reason, you killed these tribesmen, Mom and Dad." "For me, this is very important," Itachi still said coldly. Sasuke roared, then got up and punched it at Itachi. But this kind of attack has no effect on Itachi. He just made Sasuke fly upside down with one punch, losing his combat effectiveness. Then, Itachi walked towards Sasuke step by step and said, "You should have seen Chenhui beating the 5 of us. That kind of power is so fascinating, I can't wait to get it. My parents and these people will only be obstacles to my path to the strong, so I killed them myself. But you are different, I will not kill you, because you have a great effect on me. I have turned on Mangekyo, but as long as I can get your Mangekyo again, the pupil power can go further. So, when you have the same eyes as mine one day, I will kill you and get that incomparable power. Hate me, only then can you turn on Mangekyo faster, my stupid brother." With that said, Itachi had already arrived in front of Sasuke. He grabbed Sasuke's head, then forced Sasuke to look at him, and once again performed a monthly reading on Sasuke, immersing him in the scene of the Itachi massacre. After 2 months of reading, although Itachi did not attack Sasuke, Sasuke passed out into a coma. However, in his dream, Sasuke continued to experience the scene of the Itachi slaughtering the tribe. Itachi carefully placed Sasuke on the bed. He stroked Sasuke's head and murmured, "Sasuke, don't blame me, this is the last resort to make you live." Then, Itachi turned and walked outside the house. Naturally there will be roots behind to take care of Sasuke. Although Itachi can take Sasuke and leave directly, but this is a complete break with Konoha. For some reason, he didn't want to confront his hometown, from the bottom of his heart. Therefore, letting Sasuke grow safely in Konoha is the best choice. After leaving the house, Obito had been waiting outside for a long time. Obito said faintly, "It seems that you love your brother very much. You have used the harmless monthly reading twice in a row." Itachi did not answer Obito's question, but said in a deep voice, "Although I don't know what plan you have, it must be the enemy of the entire ninja world. You have seen Chenhui's strength today. Do you think your plan can continue?" Obito said, "You don't need to worry, our organization is very strong. Although I am not Chenhui's opponent, who is greatly damaged now, the leader of the organization naturally has a way to deal with him. After all, Chenhui is only strong alone, and he relies on the weirdness of time and space. If you don't use time and space ninjutsu in a head-on confrontation, it will be enough to deal with him with 2 or 3 shadow levels." "That's good." Itachi nodded. However, Itachi sneered at Obito's last words. After all, if Obito didn't use Kamui, Itachi would be confident that he could fight him. But is it possible? Obviously unrealistic. Obito didn't know Itachi's psychological activities. He nodded and said, "The matter is over, let's go too." "You go first, I need to warn Danzo," Itachi replied, and then used the body flicker technique to leave instantly. Obito saw this and immediately disappeared in place using Kamui. At this time, those hidden roots also appeared one after another. While cleaning the battlefield, they also began to collect 3 Tomo Sharingan for Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo. Looking at Itachi's distant back, Danzo couldn't help clenching his fists in resentment. "This Itachi, dare to threaten me." Remembering that Itachi threatened him with his own strength and the secrets of the village before, Danzo's inner anger was even worse. But it is true that the skills are not as good as others, and he can only secretly curse. Uchiha is not a good thing. At this moment, several roots appeared in front of him instantly. Danzo's expression calmed down when he saw this. "Have you got everything?" One root respectfully said, "We got 12 pairs of 3 Tomo Sharingan, 18 pairs of 2 Hook Jade Sharingan, and 25 pairs of 1 Tomo Sharingan." "Not bad." Danzo nodded in satisfaction. Although there are many Uchiha people who choose to stay in Konoha, most of them are not very talented and strong, so it is not surprising that Sharingan only has these. Danzo. The root continued. In addition, the masked man also took 3 pairs of 3 Tomo Sharingan. Danzo said lightly, "It's okay, you all go down." After hearing the sound, several roots immediately used body flicker technique to leave. And Danzo also turned and rushed towards the secret base of the roots. Sarutobi Hiruzen is still waiting for Sharingan. In a hidden base, Danzo pushed open a closed gate. Inside the door, Sarutobi Hiruzen sat on the bed, tentatively moving his newly acquired arm. "It looks like the operation was a success, Hiruzen." Danzo walked directly towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. The doctor on the side respectfully said, "Master Danzo, we have made the most suitable arm for Master Naruto. However, the cells inside are too active, and suppression measures need to be taken as soon as possible." Danzo waved his hand and said, "Don't worry, I already got something." When Sarutobi Hiruzen heard this, his heart suddenly moved, and he asked, "Then Itachi?" "He has already followed Uchiha Madara," Danzo said, lying on the bed next to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Then, he handed a scroll to the healer and said, "The one in my arm has been used up and needs to be replaced. Let's get started. Both Hiruzen and I have 10 transplanted arms, and my right eye." "Yes." The healer respectfully took over the scroll. As Danzo's loyal subordinate, he installed the Sharingan on Danzo's arm before, so he knows exactly what Danzo gave him. The doctor started the operation, and Sarutobi Hiruzen also started and stopped discussions during the process. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed hypocritically. "Itachi has done so much for Konoha. We are sorry for Itachi." Stopped glancing at him and sneered, "Itachi is not so selfless. Before leaving, he came to warn me, let me not hit Sasuke's idea. It's lawless." Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head without stubbornness. Seeing this, Danzo continued, "Now I suspect that there is a problem with Itachi's loyalty, so to be on the safe side, I'd better leave Sasuke to me for training." "No." But Danzo had just finished speaking, and Sarutobi Hiruzen vetoed him in one fell swoop. "Itachi now has Mangekyo Sharingan. After using it proficiently, he might be able to reach the level of Chenhui. We have completely offended Chenhui now. If we turn our faces with Itachi, Konoha will be really dangerous by then. Danzo snorted and said, Hiruzen, you are still too indecisive, and I don't think it can catch up with Chenhui with Itachi. No need to say. Sarutobi Hiruzen interrupted Danzo's words directly. I know what you want to do with Sasuke, but Sasuke is the last bridge between us and Itachi, so there can be no problems, let me take care of him. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen, Danzo was determined, and suddenly stopped talking angrily. But soon, he brought up another topic. Danzo narrowed his eyes and said, then what are you going to do with those Anbus? They all heard what Chenhui said before. This, Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned deeply, he also thought this matter was extremely tricky. Most of the ninjas who can become Anbu are Konoha's elites. As for the family ninjas in Anbu, Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't care, because his behavior has long been tacitly understood by the major families. As long as his Sarutobi Hiruzen does not infringe on the interests of those families, they will not do anything against him. What's more, Sarutobi Hiruzen still has 2 disciples outside. Those families are afraid of, and this absolute strength, it's hard to shake his position. But in Anbu, there are 7 civilian ninjas who are Konoha. If they have bad thoughts after hearing Chenhui's words, then his Sarutobi Hiruzen position will come to an end. After all, Konoha is mostly composed of civilians. Although they are stupid, they are not stupid, and they don't care about Sarutobi Hiruzen's so-called power. So although he is not afraid of those families in terms of force, once his reputation is greatly damaged, Sarutobi Hiruzen will be expected to step down. This was the case at the end of the previous 3 wars. Because of the performance of the battlefield, Namikaze Minato's reputation was unprecedentedly high. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen has caused Konoha to experience 2 wars in the ninja world in succession during his reign, and his reputation has been greatly reduced. So at that time he was forced to abdicate and live in seclusion behind the scenes. But Sarutobi Hiruzen has regained the position of Naruto at this time, he doesn't want to be forced to abandon the throne of Naruto again. Therefore, those civilians Anbu who were present at the time were factors of instability. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen's solemn face, Danzo suddenly smiled and said his plan. Hiruzen, the countless casualties of Konoha now can't stand the toss, so these people can't keep it anymore. Sarutobi Hiruzen narrowed his eyes, and said solemnly, what do you mean? They all contributed to Konoha. Danzo waved his hand and said, don't worry, I won't kill these people, but they are no longer suitable for appearing in Konoha village. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Danzo quietly, waiting for his next words. Danzo continued. There were hundreds of people in Anbu, your confidant, who were present at the time, and they accounted for 60% of Konoha's entire Anbu. Excluding the Konoha family of ninjas, the remaining civilian Anbu also has 40% of the total. Killing these people will only weaken Konoha's vitality, but if we don't kill it, it will be Konoha's unstable factor. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned, and said, if you have anything to say, you don't need to be circumspect. Danzo smiled slightly, and said, so it's better to hand these people over to the roots, hide their lives and let them work for Konoha in another way. The manpower of the roots has been severely damaged this time, and it happens that there is an urgent need to expand the recruitment, and the roots have enough strength to make these people forget what Chenhui said today. This, Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned, he naturally knew what Danzo's behavior was for, undoubtedly he wanted to take the opportunity to strengthen his roots. But really, the plan Danzo said really moved him. After all, without killing these people, what Danzo said is the safest way. Danzo saw that Sarutobi Hiruzen was already tempted, and immediately continued to speak for another fire. Hiruzen, no time to think about it. Now Konoha has been destroyed by Chenhui, and those Anbus are constantly saving people, so I can't think about Chenhui's words for now. But when it's dawn, the murdered civilians are rescued. Once they talk about the matter again, it will be too late to stop it by then. I have to say that Danzo chose the right time, and his words completely overwhelmed Sarutobi Hiruzen's defense. Although most of his words are just guesses, every one of them has penetrated deeply into Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart. Therefore, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded helplessly after thinking about it for a long time. These people are Konoha's heroes, don't easily kill them. As soon as he said this, Danzo's face suddenly smiled like a chrysanthemum. Everything went wrong tonight, and the news made him smile. He has coveted Anbu's power for a long time. Then, he nodded to the root behind him, and that root immediately walked out of the room when he saw it. Based on his knowledge of Sarutobi Hiruzen, he had already arranged everything before he came, only to wait for Sarutobi Hiruzen to nod. When Sarutobi Hiruzen saw this, he could only helplessly shook his head. Because of the preparations, the Anbu who were present were quickly found by the roots one by one. Then, facing the menacing roots, this group of Anbu was quickly controlled. Among them, Anbu from the Konoha family, after being warned, asked them to gather for a while and wait for Danzo's orders. This group of family ninjas did not resist either. The Qian rule had been told to them in the family when they joined Anbu, and they all understood it. But those civilians Anbu are not so lucky. They are alone, and they have no ability to resist against multiple roots. But Danzo did not break his promise. He did not hurt these Anbu. After all, these people will be his strength from now on. He just ordered the roots of his subordinates, and after capturing the civilian Anbu one by one, he used the secret method of the roots, the imprint of the tongue's curse. With this sealing techniques, this group of civilians Anbu can no longer tell what happened today. Afterwards, the group of Anbu who was in the middle of the art was brought to the base of Konoha's inner roots by the roots, and professional personnel began to brainwash them so that they could always be loyal to Danzo. The sky gradually brightened, and countless civilians gathered in the ruins of Konoha. The Konoha explosion this time made Konoha, which had been built for decades, turned into ruins 8 years before the original pen attacked the village. And because it was late at night, the casualties this time were extremely heavy, and countless people died inexplicably in their sleep. The number of dead civilians and ninjas can be in 10,000. Those living villagers didn't know why this happened, so they waited for an answer from Sarutobi Hiruzen. As for the damage caused by this behavior to Konoha, Chenhui and the others will only be happy from the bottom of their hearts when they know about it. Because when Uchiha served as the Konoha guard, these Konoha villagers were very hostile to them. The reason why Uchiha wants to set off a rebellion is also related to this group of villagers. It stands to reason that Uchiha maintained the stability of the village by arresting people and doing things according to the rules during his tenure as the guard. This group of villagers should be grateful and there is no reason to reject them. But these ignorant villagers don't think so much, they only care about the so-called fair, fishing boat. And who created the fishing boat? Of course it is Danzo and others in power. The Uchiha guards caught a ninja who was drunk and making trouble and kept the village and wine shop safe. But this matter was promoted by Danzo and others, and it turned into Uchiha's use of the power of the guard to bully those weak ninjas who have offended them or are displeased by them. Coupled with the denial and rumors of those who made mistakes and were arrested, Uchiha has become a powerful and arrogant endorsement. Those villagers didn't care if Uchiha was wronged, they didn't even care about the truth of the matter, they just wanted to see what they saw. After all, they belong to the famous Uchiha clan, and there are naturally many people who hate. In front of Uchiha, these villagers naturally did not dare to say anything, but behind them they scolded the innocent Uchiha all over. And these can't hide Uchiha, but according to Uchiha's arrogant personality, naturally disdain to explain to the group of villagers, although the explanation will not be useful. Over time, the conflict between Uchiha and the village will naturally become more and more serious. All these ignorant villagers have become the tools for Danzo and others to deal with Uchiha. And to deal with such tools, naturally, Chenhui will not have any pity. Just like Konoha can eradicate Uchiha without hesitation, regardless of age, Chenhui will naturally not care about Konoha's casualties. It's the so-called, take the way of the other and give back to the body. Chenhui only cares about people related to him. As for other things, Chenhui only wants to say, it's my business. At the base gate of the route, Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo walked out slowly. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen's arms were already wrapped in bandages like Danzo. This is of course to maintain the authority of his Hokage-sama. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo walked towards the gathering place of the villagers without delay. Danzo said, "How are you going to explain this incident? If it doesn't work, just do as I said." "What are you going to do?" Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. Danzo, Push everything to Chenhui and the rebellious group. Let's say, Chenhui intends to bring some tribesmen to start a rebellion, but he was discovered by the patriarch Fugaku, and after discussing with us, he was prepared to persuade Chenhui for peace. But Chenhui colluded with a large number of powerhouses outside the village and ambushed us during the negotiation. And we were both seriously injured during the siege. In the end, we tried our best to drive him out of Konoha. During this period, we also sacrificed hundreds of roots and hundreds of anbu. But who would have thought that Chenhui had planted a large number of detonating charms in the village long ago, and it finally led to this disaster. Then Itachi was stimulated by Chenhui and slaughtered the peace-loving Uchiha who supported Konoha, leaving only his younger brother. Are you going to push everything to Chenhui? Sarutobi Hiruzen's pupils suddenly shrank. Then he said solemnly, "You have seen Chenhui's strength. If you offend him so much, Konoha will definitely be hated by him." Then Chenhui doesn't hate Konoha now? Danzo asked rhetorically. He destroyed the entire Konoha directly, and we have long since died endlessly. Wouldn't he be grateful to us if we didn't push all this to him? Sarutobi Hiruzen is silent. He knows Danzo is right. Konoha and Chenhui have been endlessly dying. Chenhui will definitely destroy Konoha if he has a chance, and Konoha will never let Chenhui if he has a chance. Danzo continued. Moreover, Chenhui's strength is not as terrible as imagined. Although his abilities are powerful and weird, they definitely require a huge amount of chakra, and when he left, there was absolutely nothing left of chakra. Otherwise, he would not choose to let us go in exchange for Shisui's eyes when he has the advantage. After all, if his combat power still existed at the time, then he could still get another pair of Itachi's Mangekyo. After Danzo finished speaking, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes suddenly lit up. He was abused by Chenhui just now, and even the monkey demon died in Chenhui's hands, so he didn't expect so much. Now after Danzo's suggestion, he discovered that Chenhui is not as terrible as he thought. What's more, there were only less than 1,000 Anbu in the roots that surrounded the Uchiha clan at that time. However, there are no more than 10,000 ninjas in Konoha. So if Chenhui confronts the entire Konoha, he can also be consumed to death. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded to Danzo and said, "Then I will listen to you, just do it." Then, the two smiled at each other, the pressure in their hearts was relieved, and they even accelerated their pace a little. But when they did not expect, in just one night, Chenhui's strength has also undergone earth-shaking changes. In the square where Konoha Center was cleared, Sarutobi Hiruzen was crying and complaining of Chenhui's crime. That set of rhetoric seems to be the plan Danzo mentioned before. The ignorant group of villagers below, as Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen had hoped, cursed Chenhui and the group of Uchiha who chose to follow him. Looking at the villagers below, only scolding Chenhui and not pushing the blame on him at all, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded in satisfaction. As expected of Danzo, this kind of thing is still the best plan, he thinks. After a long time, seeing Chenhui's scolding situation intensified below, Sarutobi Hiruzen hurriedly interrupted. At this time, he still has a lot to do, but he can't just be consumed here. I saw, Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a sorrowful look. As Hokage, this time Konoha is destroyed, I have no shirk. If I could find out about Uchiha's civil strife sooner, and then figure out a way to manage it, I wouldn't be like what it is today, so that Konoha, which has been developing for decades, would be destroyed like this. I am ashamed of teacher second generation, ashamed of the villagers who died in this disaster. Speaking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but clenched his fists and thumped his chest, burst into tears. The villagers below did not live up to his expectations, and they persuaded Hokage-sama, that's him. Uchiha doesn't know how to promote him. How can he be blamed on Hokage-sama? Yeah, I've seen it a long time ago, Uchiha is a gangster. Yeah, please don't blame yourself too much, Hokage-sama. The villagers are angry, but the opposite is the small groups standing outside the square. They stared at the scene in front of them coldly, almost dismissive of Sarutobi Hiruzen's performance. But after all, Sarutobi Hiruzen is still Naruto and the patriarch of the Sarutobi clan, so they just have a plain face and no expressions. This group of people are the big and small families in Konoha. Just after Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo had the surgery, Danzo ordered the group of roots and released the family Anbu. So this family has long known the inside story of last night. So in the face of Sarutobi Hiruzen's extremely realistic acting skills at this moment, they will not be moved at all. Not only that, secretly, they also began to discuss. Unexpectedly, Uchiha would be exterminated like this. Sarutobi Hiruzen is really ruthless. It's not enough to destroy the clan. Didn't it mean that Chenhui took some of his clan members and left? At best, he killed the group of soft-footed shrimps who were willing to stay in Konoha. Isn't it? I didn't expect Uchiha's internal divisions to be so serious, so that there are still people who want to believe in Sarutobi Hiruzen. It's a pity that their loyalty feeds the dog, ha 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 ha. Don't be happy too early. Let's think about how to deal with the follow-up impact of this matter. Sarutobi Hiruzen has kicked the iron this time. Isn't it? I heard that Chenhui alone suppressed the 5 film-level combined attacks, including Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen, and also severed Sarutobi Hiruzen's 2 arms. He's only 13 years old, isn't he? It's really terrifying. If he grows like this, in a few years, he will probably reach the level of Uchiha Madara and first generation. If he avenges Konoha at that time, what shall we do? If that time really comes, Konoha is afraid that no one can stop him. If this is the case, then we will stand on the sidelines. Anyway, the one who offended Uchiha this time is Sarutobi Hiruzen, who is wronged and indebted. If we don't shoot him, Chenhui will not offend us all, right? That's right, let him and the Sarutobi clan take care of the trouble he caused Sarutobi Hiruzen. Yes, as long as we don't involve us, we don't need to be nosy. Nara, Akamaiki, Yamanaka, Hyuga, although you are close to Sarutobi Hiruzen, in the face of such a big problem, I think you should think through it. Hyuga Hiyashi nodded flatly, and said, don't worry, I won't make fun of the future of the race. Yamanaka Keiichi and Akamaiki Choza looked at Naraluku, as the think tank of Pig Deer Butterfly, and Konoha's smartest person, he should naturally make up his mind at this time. Naraluju nodded after being silent for a long time. After all, if Chenhui really pressured Konoha, he would not make fun of the whole family. On the temporary high platform, Sarutobi Hiruzen pressed his hand, and the square suddenly became quiet. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Now Konoha is destroyed by Chenhui and countless compatriots have lost their lives in his hands. Although we are extremely sad, we must continue to move on. So next is the time for everyone to work together. Let us rebuild our homes together, and let those who are unruly with Konoha see what is the power of the largest village in the ninja world. Harm. Under the infection of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the people below burst out with strong enthusiasm. Then, they began to gradually disperse. After all, rebuilding Konoha cannot be completed overnight. Even if there are ninjas to take action, it will take at least a few years. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and smiled with relief, as long as the foolish people still believe in him and support him. Then, he turned around to find Danzo and other senior Konoha leaders. However, at this moment, he went to find a dark shadow rushing towards him. His face suddenly changed. He knew that person, and that was Anbu, who personally protected Naruto. Nothing can happen to Nine-Tails Jinchuriki at Konoha's weakest moment. In a moment, he got the black shadow and appeared in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen asked quickly, did something happen to Naruto? The dark shadow said with some trepidation, the humble men neglected their duties, just last night. Then the man told him all about encountering Chenhui and being killed by him. Chenhui, Sarutobi Hiruzen screamed, and then hurried to Naruto's direction. Inside the hut deep in the dense forest, Naruto also opened his eyes at this time. A trace of confusion flashed in Naruto's eyes, but soon he seemed to think of something, and instantly sat up from the bed. Then, he cautiously called out from the bottom of his heart, Nine-Tails. As soon as his voice fell, a roar came from the bottom of his heart. Don't do such a silly and redundant thing, it will make you look like an idiot. Naruto was suddenly dizzy by the sound, but soon he recovered. Then he stroked his chest and breathed a sigh of relief. It's not a dream. At this moment, a figure appeared in front of Naruto instantly. This person is Sarutobi Hiruzen. Naruto was also taken aback by the sudden appearance of the figure. He exclaimed, Grandpa, third generation. But soon, he remembered the true face of Sarutobi Hiruzen that Chenhui told him in the spiritual world last night. Suddenly, his heart became vigilant. At this time, Nine-Tails also spoke again. Don't be nervous, kid, there is an old man, this person in front of you is nothing at all. Naruto directly ignored Nine-Tails' arrogant words. After all, if Nine-Tails is really so strong, how could it be sealed in his body? Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally didn't know what was happening in Naruto's heart. He smiled and nodded to Naruto. Then, he said amiably, Konoha was destroyed by a rebellion last night, did little Naruto meet any suspicious people? Because it's a big deal, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't mean anything. Seeing this, Naruto suddenly became more vigilant in his heart. But on the face he still pretended to be innocent and said, no, I didn't hear anything last night. I slept until now and just got up. Is it? After hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned deeply, and the look in Naruto's eyes began to look strange. Sarutobi Hiruzen's emotional change was calm, but Naruto had acquired Nine-Tails' ability to perceive good and evil last night, so he naturally felt Sarutobi Hiruzen's subtle changes to him. Suddenly, Naruto's heart became flustered. He was only 8 years old after all. Although his childhood experience and the opportunity last night have made his mind more mature, Naruto is still a little frantic in front of an old fox like Sarutobi Hiruzen. At this moment, the voice of Nine-Tails rang again. Boy, have you forgotten what that guy said to you last night? Don't play your cleverness in front of this old man. After waking up by Nine-Tails, Naruto suddenly remembered Chenhui's words at parting. Then, he immediately started his performance from the outside world. I saw a hint of hesitation on Naruto's face, and he kept looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a particularly obvious hesitation. What's happenin'? When Sarutobi Hiruzen saw this, he became a little nervous. Naruto hesitated and said, although I didn't meet any weird people last night, I had a very special dream. Special dream? Sarutobi Hiruzen was startled, and then quickly asked, what dream is it? Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen taking the bait, Naruto was immediately happy. Then he stretched out his hand to Sarutobi Hiruzen like a treasure. Look, Grandpa third generation, I now have such great abilities. With that, a blood-red chakra immediately covered Naruto's entire arm. When Sarutobi Hiruzen saw this, his pupils suddenly shrank. This is chakra from Nine-Tails. While Sarutobi Hiruzen was shocked, Naruto immediately said all that Chenhui had said to him last night. After speaking, he asked with a hint of crying, is that what the man in the dream said is true? Is my dad really fourth Hokage? Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent. He didn't know how to return to Naruto's problem, and then, his heart began to struggle. Naruto, who has the ability to perceive good and evil, can perceive that the atmosphere in the room is starting to become more and more weird. At the same time, waves of killing intent that made Naruto feel cold and extremely condensed began to emerge. And the source of that killing intent is Sarutobi Hiruzen. Suddenly, Naruto realized that what Chenhui said was true. The Grandpa third generation in front of him was always acting in order to gain his trust and control the power of Nine-Tails. Thinking of this, a wave of negative emotions began to emerge in Naruto's heart. But soon, Nine-Tails' reminder calmed him down. At this time, he did not have the strength to resist Sarutobi Hiruzen. So on the surface, Naruto still looks aggrieved at Sarutobi Hiruzen. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen was also extremely suffering. He didn't know how to deal with Naruto, who already knew all the facts. What's more, Naruto also mastered the power of Nine-Tails at this time. There are 3 paths before him now. 1. Take control of Naruto immediately, then pull away from Nine-Tails, and change to a more secure and obedient Jinchuriki. 2. Acknowledge Naruto's true identity, and then rely on his own illusory art fire will funny laugh to appease him. But there is a risk in doing so. That is, Naruto will reveal his identity, and then his reputation among the villagers in Sarutobi Hiruzen is completely finished. 3. Tell Naruto that all this is fake. This direct pass, after all, Naruto is not a fool. Gradually, Sarutobi Hiruzen is a little biased towards the first option. After all, it is the safest way to do so, and there is no worries. But soon, Sarutobi Hiruzen remembered another important thing. The news that Konoha was destroyed at this time is estimated to be sent back to his village by other spies from Shinobu village. At that time, the major ninja villages will definitely be ready to move, and Konoha will fall into the situation of being besieged again. At this time, besides him and Danzo, Konoha also had the ability to fight against the cage of the major shinobu villages. As for Tsunade, it must be impossible to fight because of the fear of blood. But in the major shinobu villages, Jinchuriki still exists. Once the 4 ninja villages join forces to deal with Konoha, then Konoha will face more than 10 shadow-level opponents. Among Konoha, including the special team of Pig Deer Butterfly, 6 or 7 shadow ranks can be gathered. So is Jinchuriki, who has mastered Nine-Tails chakra. Naruto has become one of Konoha's cards. If you choose to replace Jinchuriki at this time, and those shinobu villages attack Konoha at this time, then Konoha. The consequences could be disastrous. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly had an idea, and he could only choose to appease Naruto. So, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Naruto kindly, and started his journey of flickering. Yes, Naruto, you are the hero who saved Konoha, the son of 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. In order to prevent Nine-Tails from destroying Konoha, your father sealed Nine-Tails on you at the cost of his life. Why would he choose me? Naruto asked excitedly. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed and said, he has trouble doing this. Your father was the hero who crushed other shinobu villages and saved Konoha during World War III, so other shinobu villages hated him a long time ago. In order to prevent those shinobu villages from attacking you after he died, so he sealed Nine-Tails on your body, and when you grow up, you can use the power of Nine-Tails to protect yourself. And in order for you to grow up safely, your father didn't let me disclose your identity. He asked me to wait for you to have enough power to protect yourself before telling you the truth. That's why the villagers don't know your true identity. The reason why the villagers regard you as a monster fox is because they have been used by people with ulterior motives. Those people want to force me to reveal your identity. Because these people want to get rid of you too. They dare not do anything to you in the village, so they want to borrow the power of other shinobu villages. But those shinobu villages naturally wouldn't believe their words easily, so they took their idea to me. Speaking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen put his hand on Naruto's shoulder. He said earnestly, Naruto, I said this to let you know, I will not deceive you, let alone hurt you. So I hope you can understand my good intentions. At this time, Naruto's face was naturally touched, and then he plunged into Sarutobi Hiruzen's arms. Grandpa 3rd generation, I believe you. I won't let you and my father down. Good boy, good boy. Sarutobi Hiruzen hugged Naruto excitedly, and his heart was relaxed at this moment. He secretly said with emotion, finally, I passed the blunder. He didn't know that Naruto, who looked extremely moved at this time, was extremely cold in his heart. Sarutobi Hiruzen thinks that his lies are impeccable, but he would not have thought that Naruto can perceive good and evil. With every word he said just now, Naruto could feel the deep malice in his heart. So at this moment, Naruto is just playing on the scene. Naruto said silently in his heart, Brother Chenhui, I have seen the true face of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Don't worry, I will not let them go. Just as the two were playing with each other, news of Konoha's destruction and Uchiha defecting quickly spread to other countries. Iwagakure. Good. Onoki threw the information in his hand on the table with an excited look. I didn't expect to receive such good news early in the morning. Ha 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 ha. Seeing Onoki's gaffe, the black soil on the side could not help asking. Grandpa, what happened? As for being so happy. With that said, she went forward and grabbed the information on the table. But when she fixed her eyes, her pupils suddenly shrank. The entire Konoha was destroyed. Half of Uchiha's strong defected. Konoha killed more than 1,000 Anbu ninja, tens of thousands of civilians were killed and injured. Is this true? After reading the information, Heitu couldn't help but doubt its accuracy. After all, the information on the information was too unbelievable. Onoki smiled and nodded, and said, this information is sent back by my spy who Rock Shinobi has buried in Konoha for more than 10 years. It is absolutely accurate. Besides, Konoha has such a big incident, it is estimated that it will be spread throughout the ninja world in a short time, so the information can't be false. Tisk tusk tusk. It's unimaginable that the Uchiha clan who founded Konoha will defect. Not only that, but also destroyed Konoha. What a terrible power. Onoki couldn't help feeling a little bit. When he mentioned Uchiha, he remembered the scene of being abused by Uchiha Madara with second Tsuchikage. It's really a powerful and weird clan. Cut. At this moment, the black soil curled his lips in disdain. How can Uchiha be so strong? You didn't see the intelligence saying. Uchiha buried the detonation talisman in the entire Konoha, which caused such destructive power. Only one ethnic group can make you so vigilant. I think you are really old man. It's better to retire and reselect 4th Tsuchikage. Haha. Oyemu smiled and shook his head. Don't underestimate Uchiha. Uchiha Madara back then can fight a shinobu village on your own. And what Uchiha Madara relies on is the ultimate evolution of Sharingan Mangekyo Sharingan. Now the information says, 3rd Hokage and Shimura Danzo led nearly Chian Anbu to stop, and as a result, nearly Chian Anbu fell, and Hokage and Danzo were also seriously injured. This shows that within the Uchiha clan, the leader Chenhui is very likely to awaken the power of Uchiha Madara Mangekyo Sharingan. It seems that the ninja world is about to change. Black Earth still held a skeptical attitude. No, if that Chenhui really awakened Mangekyo Sharingan, then how could he choose to defect? After all, according to what you said, doesn't Chenhui already have the power to fight against a village? Oyemu said in a deep voice, that's because Chenhui is still young. Look at this piece of information. It shows that he is only 13 years old this year, and he is also 1 or 2 years older than you. If you give him a few more years, it will probably be another Uchiha Madara. Is it about my age? Suddenly I became a little interested in him. Heitu received another piece of information and read it with interest. Then, Onoki looked to the side of the Lois who had never spoken with a smile on his face. You go find out where the Uchiha who defected, now they have nowhere to go, maybe they can be used by us. Okay, Huang Tu nodded, and then went down to prepare. When he arrived at Tsuchikage's office, he and the black soil were the only ones left, and Onoki couldn't help but sigh again. At the moment Konoha is in chaos, and it is estimated that several other villages are already ready to move. This is a good time to get a piece of the pie. Onoki hesitated. He didn't know whether he should take the opportunity to attack Konoha. At the end of the Third Ninja War, he spent 10,000 rock shinobi and killed the third Raikage. But Iwagakure was hurt by this, and it only eased a little in recent years. If you attack Konoha at this time, Iwagakure will naturally have the power to fight, but it is estimated that most of the people involved in the battle are the younger generation of Iwagakure. If something happens to them accidentally, Iwagakure's future is afraid. Thinking of this, Onoki couldn't help sighing and secretly said, then wait for other shinobu villages to take action, and judge whether to send troops based on the situation. Boom. At this moment, there was an explosion in the distance of Iwagakure. What happened? Onoki suddenly changed his complexion and stood up. This is Iwagakure. Heitu curled his lips and said, it must be Brother Deidara again. Oyemu's face twitched, and he thought of his unconscious disciple, and then he quickly jumped out of the window and flew toward the explosion. Seeing this, the black soil couldn't help but smile. Brother Deidara is going to be miserable again. At this time, several other shinobu villages also received news that Konoha had been destroyed. After thinking for a long time, 4th Kazekage Rosa of Sunagakure decided to watch from the wall like Onoki. After all, Sunagakure was targeted by the name of the Wind Country at this time, and the whole village was tightening its belts to live. Even Rosha, who is a wind shadow, has to go to the desert every month to pan for gold in order to barely maintain Sunagakure's life. Such a Sunagakure has no ability to confront Konoha head-on. So hiding behind the scenes is their most correct choice. However, the grumpy 4th Raikage Eye of Cloud Shinobi Village broke the table in front of him with excitement. Then he immediately gathered the soldiers and clamored to attack Konoha. Not only him, but the entire Cloud Shinobi Village is also high in fighting spirit. As for Kurigakure, the controlled 4th Mizukage Yakura, because Obito did not instruct him to attack, he chose to suppress the matter. The entire Kurigakure also knew about this matter by him and several loyal Anbus. Other villages, large and small, quickly learned of this. After all Konoha was destroyed, Sarutobi Hiruzen and the others couldn't stop the news. At this time, Chenhui also reunited with Uchiha Quan and others on the border of the Fire Country. In a secret room, hundreds of Uchiha were guarded around. In the secret room, Chenhui is sitting on the ground with several people, discussing the road after Uchiha. Chenhui, now you are the patriarch of Uchiha, tell me, what shall we do next? We all listen to you. The speaker was an old man named Uchiha Penghai, the old elder of the Uchiha clan, and the person with the highest age and prestige among the clans who chose to follow Chenhui. Except for him, everyone in the room is the strongest group in Uchiha right now. Uchiha Peak and Uchiha Spring are naturally among them. And Uchiha Quan's ability to sit here is of course Chenhui's instruction. After all, he is Chenhui's younger sister, and he is still a rare genius who can turn on 3-go Jade at the age of 13, so other people will naturally have no objection. Chapter 31. Chenhui glanced around, and everyone below looked at him with admiration and respect. Obviously, at this moment, he has become the backbone of the crowd. At this time, even if he asks these people to do the task of dying, they probably won't even wrinkle their brows. Seeing this, Chenhui said that it must be false if he is not moved. These people chose to stand behind him when he was the most influential and single-faced with the top 5 shadow ranks, and he would naturally not let them down. Then, Chenhui took out a black scroll from his arms, which was the one he was rewarded for completing the system task. However, Chenhui did not immediately announce the scrolls, but prepared to tell his plan first. Chenhui slowly said, "From the day I was born, I, Uchiha, is one of the best in the ninja realm. In the Sengoku era, we and Senju teamed up to build today's Konoha, almost 60 years ago. Konoha was created by us, and we naturally love this village too. But since the second Hokage era, we Uchiha have been constantly targeted by Konoha. From top to bottom, even the villagers have treated us with what we are looking for and what we are behind. To this day, Sarutobi Hiruzen is preparing to completely destroy our family. So, we don't need to miss such a village anymore." At this time, Uchiha Penghai also stood up angrily and said, "Yes. Konoha chose to turn his face with us, and we don't have to continue to bear it." Uchiha Penghai is a person who has lived since Konoha's establishment until now. Naturally, he knows what Uchiha has been going through over the years. Now, under the leadership of Chenhui, Uchiha has already reproduced the appearance of his former glory, so even if Uchiha Penghai is old, he is still passionate. Chenhui nodded, and said solemnly, "Not only that, Konoha is about to destroy us. As the founder of Konoha, we naturally have the right to let it disband again. In 4 years, I want Konoha to completely become a thing of the past in the shinobi world." Chenhui, who knew the plot, knew that in the Chunin exam 4 years later, San Shinobi and Otonin attacked Konoha. And this is also his chance to get Konoha and San Shinobi together. Uchiha responded, "Under your leadership, Chenhui, we will naturally not be afraid of Konoha, and then we will follow you to destroy Konoha." "No, you were wrong." At this time, Chenhui rejected Uchiha's words. While Uchiha was in a daze, Chenhui said in a deep voice, "It is not you who followed me, but we Uchiha joined forces to destroy Konoha." Then, Chenhui scanned the people below and continued, "Since the Sengoku era, we Uchiha have stood at the top of the ninja world with absolute strength. But after Konoha was established, we only lived in the glory of the Sengoku era, and nothing else. Even now, his Sarutobi Hiruzen dared to plan to destroy us. Whose problem do you think this is? It's our own problem. If I did not appear today, Uchiha would really become a thing of the past." Speaking of this, the people below all bowed their heads and said nothing. They knew that Chenhui was right. They survived today because of the existence of Chenhui. Chenhui continued, "Our current glory is cast by our ancestors with blood and tears. In the past 60 years, when the ninja world mentioned Uchiha, the first thing that came to mind was Uchiha Madara, those strong men 60 years ago. I don't think this is an honor." When Chenhui said this, the group of people below suddenly became even more ashamed. Seeing this, Chenhui faintly said the last sentence, "I hope that one day, when the Shinokai mentions Uchiha, it is the people who are doing it first, not the ancestors who have passed away. Otherwise, for the ancestors who have passed away, we unscrupulous children and grandchildren are just ruining the glory of Uchiha that they built with blood and tears." After saying this, Chenhui stopped speaking and let this group of people reflect on themselves. Most of the people present here are actually no different from the two pillars in the original book. They talk about the glory of Uchiha, but they don't have the absolute strength to maintain this glory. Instead, they give others a feeling of, Uchiha is nothing but that. Now that he decided to lead this group of people in the ninja world, Chenhui naturally had to change this. Otherwise, I only know the arrogant group of people, and the ultimate achievement will never be so high, even with his help. At this time, Uchiha Penghai sighed and said, Chenhui is right. Our children and grandchildren are only discrediting the ancestors. The glory of Uchiha to our generation seems to have become a kind of joke. When Konoha village was first established, apart from the Senju clan, even if the remaining clan went together, we Uchiha were not afraid. But now, this group of people can sit on an equal footing with us. How ironic is this? Even Sharingan, whom we are proud of, has become a prying object for those careerists. Speaking of this, Uchiha Penghai stood up and saluted Chenhui respectfully. When Chenhui saw this, he also hurriedly got up to help. As an elder, Uchiha Penghai was also a person who cared for him since childhood. Chenhui naturally did not put on airs. Unexpectedly, after Uchiha Penghai got up, he firmly grasped Chenhui's arms. He looked at Chenhui firmly, and said, not only did you have superior strength and save the whole family, but you also didn't get blinded by the superficial glory. I believe Uchiha will regain the glory of the past under your leadership. Although I am old, I am willing to contribute to my Uchiha. From now on, I will help you take care of these people. If they don't change their temperaments, I will teach them. Chenhui knows what Uchiha Penghai means. Although the people of the tribe are now obedient to Chenhui's life-saving grace. But as time goes by, it is hard to guarantee that no one will jump out to question Chenhui. After all, people's hearts are changeable, and not everyone is as familiar with Chenhui as Uchiha Peak. And Uchiha Penghai's move is to use the prestige he has accumulated in the clan over the years to ensure Chenhui's absolute rule. Chenhui has a system of secret scrolls, so naturally he is not worried that someone will jump out to oppose him in the future. But Chenhui was also very moved by Uchiha Penghai's caring action. After all, Uchiha Penghai didn't know that he still had the magical thing about the system. So Chenhui looked at the others and said in a deep voice. Since Elder Penghai is willing to continue to shine for Uchiha, from now on, Elder Penghai will be the law enforcement elder of my Uchiha. The rules of the clan within the clan are redefined by Elder Penghai, and Elder Penghai has the power to reward and punish all clansmen. Do you have any objections? No, the others were almost shouting words. Already more than 60 Uchiha Penghai are willing to Uchiha to stand at the front desk in the future. They are naturally not far behind. And after the danger of extermination last night, they understood what Chenhui had just said. If you want Uchiha to stand at the pinnacle of the ninja world, you really need to change the thinking of the people. A group of people looked at Chenhui firmly. Especially Uchiha Spring, his eyes are full of worship and love. Good, good, good. Seeing this, Chenhui couldn't help nodding. These people are willing to change from the heart. He waved his hand and said, sit down, let's continue talking about the topic just now. Then, seeing that everyone had done it again, Chenhui continued, since everyone trusts me so much, then I will not hide it from you. I'm going to 1. Unification, forbearance, world. Chenhui stated his goal word by word. After Chenhui finished speaking, he lowered his head and waited quietly for someone to stand up and ask questions. But after waiting for a long time, the secret room is still quiet. He couldn't help raising his head suddenly, but the enthusiastic eyes of a crowd greeted him. I saw Uchiha Peak excitedly asked, Chenhui, tell me, what should we do? Chenhui raised his eyebrows and said in a puzzled way, don't you think I'm making progress too fast? Uchiha Peak shook his head, unhappy. I imagined a long time ago that one day I will lead Uchiha to unify the world of ninja. Another tribe also responded. Yes, and I believe that under Chenhui's leadership, coupled with our concerted efforts, achieving this goal is not a problem. Yes, and even if we can't do it, our younger generations can inherit this ideal, 1 generation or 2, 3rd generation. One day Uchiha can dominate the world of ninja. What kind of frustrating words are you talking about? How long does it take so long? Yes, that's right. Chenhui is only 13 years old now, and he can fight with 5 shadows. After a few years, he will be able to sling 5 shadows easily. These guys are really moving. Looking at the group of people who talked and supported him in another way, Chenhui couldn't help feeling warm. This group of people did not know that he had a system, nor did he know that he has now opened the eternal Mangekyo. No matter how powerful Chenhui's talents were before, after all, this is the enemy of the entire ninja world. In the minds of ordinary people, it is impossible to do it by himself. Not to mention first generation and Uchiha Madara. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen has become recognized as the strongest Naruto. Funny laugh, it is conceivable that other people can't even imagine what absolute power is. But even so, this group of people still expressed their support for Chenhui. Brother Chenhui, I believe you can do it. At this time, the spring on the side also quietly encouraged Chenhui. Upon seeing this, Chenhui put his hand on Quan's head and whispered, I believe it too. Uchiha Quan suddenly blushed and nodded. Then, the crowd in the secret room became more and more ridiculous. What? Kick Uchiha Madara in a year, fist Sage of 6 Paths in 2 years, rebuild the world in 3 years. Upon hearing this, Chenhui hurriedly made everyone's imagination stop. Chenhui is still very self-aware. Although he has opened the eternal Mangekyo now, there is still a gap between him and Madara. But if it is a year later, Rinnegan's Uchiha Madara doesn't seem to be a problem. Thinking of this, Chenhui couldn't help coughing a few times and stopped imagining. Then, he continued to say to the quiet people, since everyone has recognized this goal, then let's work hard towards this goal. After all, this is not my business alone, but the common expectation of all Uchiha people. And this goal is actually the goal of the founder of Uchiha 1,000 years ago. The founder of Uchiha 1,000 years ago. A group of people were a little surprised. Seeing that everyone was aroused by curiosity, Chenhui was not concealing, telling something about 1,000 years ago. After Sage of 6 Paths established the ninja world, they gave birth to 2 offspring, brother Indra and younger brother Ashura. Among them, Ashura is the creator of the Senju family, and Indra is the creator of our Uchiha. Indra is an absolute genius. He can learn and master everything, including our current Jain, which was created by him. Because of his talent, he is regarded as the heir of Ninzong by the people around him, so he works extremely hard to improve his strength. On the other hand, Ashura is not as talented as Indra in case, so he is not very keen on practice. Speaking of this, a kind of tribe couldn't help being a little proud. Our ancestors were so powerful. Then our ancestors must have inherited Ninzong in the end. Uchiha Peak said proudly. Chenhui smiled and shook his head. When Sage of 6 Paths was selecting the heirs, Indra's philosophy was to rule the ninja world with absolute power, while Ashura's philosophy was to influence the ninja world with love. And because Ashura often messes with other people, Indra treats other people extremely harshly, so many people choose to support Ashura instead. Therefore, Sage of 6 Paths chose Ashura in the end. Our ancestor Indra was naturally not reconciled. He left the ninja sect, and when Sage of 6 Paths passed away, he returned to the ninja sect to regain the position of his lost heir. But at that time Ashura had already acquired the inheritance of Sage of 6 Paths, and her strength had grown by leaps and bounds. But even so, Indra still defeated Ashura. But the matter is far from over. In the end, Ashura repelled Indra with the help of the rest of the team. After this battle, Indra began to create the Uchiha clan, and Ashura also began to create the Senju clan. This is also the reason why our 2 clans are hostile to each other. So that's it, a group of people suddenly realized. However, some people still said unwillingly, I didn't expect our ancestors to fail. He clearly worked so hard. It's all because of Sage of 6 Paths' eccentricity. I didn't see the efforts of our ancestors at all. Others nodded in agreement. Chenhui smiled slightly and said, let's not talk about whether Indra's concept is correct, but looking at the current state of the ninja world, Ashura's concept is absolutely wrong. Since his death, the ninja Zong was instantly torn apart, and the Senju clan at that time did not have the strength to prevent this split. This has caused the current ninja world to be torn apart. During this process, I didn't see Ashura's love having any effect. It only embodies the greed and selfishness of the human heart. Including Senju Hashirama 60 years ago, he and Uchiha Madara joined forces. In fact, they have the ability to unify the world of ninja. But in the end he also chose Ashura's path, held the Five Shadows Conference, and wanted to balance the development of the shinobi world. In front of him, the other leaders of Shinobu nodded and said yes. But when he died, the ninja world war broke out immediately. Looking at this alone, there is no strength in the ninja world, and the so-called concept dog pie is not. The others nodded in agreement, but now the ninja realm can only gain a foothold with strength. Ashura's concept is a joke in front of humanity who has not been shocked. Patriarch, since we want to unify the world of ninja, then there should also be a suitable base. A member of the tribe stood up and said, let's take a country now. Yes, the other tribe also stood up. With our current strength, it is more than enough to win a small country, and it saves the hard work of redevelopment. Yes, sit down. Chenhui nodded appreciatively, and then motioned for them to sit down first. When the two were seated again, Chenhui smiled and asked, so you guys think it's better for us to win which country first? Discuss. Of course it's Taki no Kuni, said a tribe. Taki no Kuni, as the strongest country under the 5 big countries, still has 7 tails in it. With the power of the Patriarch Mangekyo Sharingan, controlling 7 tails is a breeze. With our cooperation, we will be able to easily win a force that is not weak at that time. At this time, another tribe vetoed. Although Taki no Kuni is strong, there are many forces around it. It is surrounded by the country of fire, the country of soil, and the country of iron. Once war starts, we will face enemies from 3 parties at the same time, which is very bad for us. Yes, another clansman said. Moreover, the patriarch asked us to come to this eastern border, and he must have abandoned several countries in the western region. And in this eastern region, there are 5 countries, namely, the country of Yuno, the country of Wave, the country of Uzumaki, the country of Tea, and the country of Rainbow. Let's choose from these countries. What this tribe said is very reasonable, so other tribes also began to choose from these 5 countries. Then choose the country of Waves. As a small island country, we can develop covertly. No, the country of Poland is too barren. We don't think it will develop in more than 10 years. Yes, so it's better to be the country of Uzumaki. After all, it is the country where the Uzumaki clan was originally located. The country is still very rich. No, the country of Uzumaki has been friendly with Konoha for generations. Even if we take it, it will be difficult to stabilize the people's hearts. Maybe we will be stabbed in the back when it is critical. Then Rainbow Country. No, the kingdom of Rainbow is too remote, and there is a kingdom with water on its side. In the future, our entry into the ninja realm will definitely be hindered by it. The tribes began to argue. Everyone has their own favorite country, but each country has obvious shortcomings. So the scene suddenly stalemate. At this moment, Uchiha Kwan raised his hand cautiously. That, isn't there a country of water? After Uchiha Kwan finished speaking, the whole secret room suddenly became quiet. The corners of the mouths of a group of people twitched a little. Although they were very proud, they were not so arrogant that they would seek to seize the country of water with nearly 10,000 troops based on their 200 people. Just as a tribe member wanted to solve Uchiha Spring's confusion, another voice suddenly sounded. Yeah, isn't there a country of water? If you win it, all the problems that you worry about can be solved. The clan member was looking at which of the UNBI counted was speaking, only to find that this time, it was Chenhui. Other tribesmen naturally heard Chenhui's words, and they all swallowed and spit. Clan, Patriarch, you kidding, right? A member of the tribe stammered and asked. Of course not. Chenhui raised his mouth and said, since we are all going to unify the ninja world, why not have some excitement now? First take the water country. Gudong. The people of all the tribes heard this extremely powerful word, and immediately swallowed and spit again. Ahem. At this moment, a coughing sounded and Uchiha Penghai slowly stood up. He said, I know that the patriarch is desperate and wants to grow my Uchiha quickly. But at this time, the clansmen who followed us, leaving the old and the weak, only had more than 200 people who had reached the level of Chunin, and among them, there were only more than 50 people from Jonin. The Kurigakure of Water Country has developed for decades, and there are nearly 10,000 ninjas in it. It's a little unrealistic to rely on people like us alone to take the nation of water at this time. Uchiha Penghai takes Chenhui's face into consideration, so he said it very tactfully, but obviously he disagrees with the country that takes the water first. The other tribesmen nodded in agreement, and they also felt that it was too risky to choose to take the water country first. Chenhui smiled and shook his head, and said, I never do things that are uncertain. Why don't you listen to my plan first? Seeing Chenhui's confident face, the tribesmen somehow suddenly felt that they could really win the Kingdom of Water. Chenhui continued. Since the end of the 3 world wars, the water country has basically not passed through with the outside world, so the information you know should be the Wurin village during the 3 world wars, right? At that time, the Wujin village was powerful, and there were so many ninjas, and there were an endless stream of famous masters. But after years of development, Wurin village's strength has long been consumed to less than half of what it was during the 3 world wars. How is this possible? Obviously I haven't seen any big moves in Wurin village in these years. A group of people suddenly exclaimed. Chenhui explained, because they have experienced extremely serious internal friction over the years. Remember the masked man who called himself Uchiha Madara who appeared last night? He is not Uchiha Madara, his true identity is actually Uchiha Obito who fell in the Battle of Kamubi Bridge that year. Clan member, Uchiha Obito. The Uchiha Obito who entrusted a Sharingan to Hitaki Kakashi. As the first person to give Sharingan to outsiders, Obito is still somewhat well known in the clan. Yes, Chenhui nodded, I will tell you about his deeds in the future. Because his beloved woman died under the conspiracy of Wunin village during the Third World War, after opening Mangekyo, he secretly controlled Three Tails Jinchuriki, who was also the Yakura of 4th Mizukage. Then, in order to retaliate against Wunin village and to consume the strength of Wunin village, he controlled 4th Mizukage to continue and carry forward the blood fog policy. He made the ordinary ninjas and ordinary people of the entire water country hostile to the bloodline family, treating them as the disaster of all wars. Finally, in Wunin village, almost all the bloodline clan was annihilated, and at the same time, the ordinary ninjas were killed or injured more than half. Not only that, many strong people in the village also defected as a result, including Six Tails Jinchuriki, who also escaped from Wunin village for some reason. So at this time, Wujin village, although on the surface it is still the 5 great ninja villages, its status is already in jeopardy. I suspect that the number of ninjas in Wujin village now, it is estimated to reach 3,000, very reluctant. Mist Ninja Village, has it become so weak? Uchiha Penghai was stunned. The expressions of other tribesmen were similar to him, and they couldn't believe that Wunin village, which had been in the ninja world for decades, was actually weak to this point. It is no exaggeration to say that Takanin village can be compared with Kurinin village in terms of the number of ninjas alone. If Wurin village continues to develop in this way, even if it has a profound background, it will fall out of the ranks of the 5 great Shinin villages in a few years. But, this is a godsend for Uchiha at this time. Therefore, after a brief stupor, the eyes of this group of people suddenly became hot. How, do you still think I am dreaming now? Chenhui teasedly looked at the group of people who had changed greatly before and after. Being so teased by Chenhui, Uchiha Penghai suddenly felt very hot on his face. He coughed twice in embarrassment, and said, I am foolish. Since the patriarch can put forward this idea, there will be a solution. I haven't seen this girl clearly yet, Quangquan. Other tribesmen also scratched their heads in embarrassment. You don't know the information of Wurin village. Chenhui smiled slightly and revealed the matter in a simple sentence. Then, he said seriously, since the target has been selected, let's formulate a plan to capture Wurin village. What we want to win is not only the land and resources of Wurin village, but also his strength in our hands. So force can only play a deterrent effect, and the most important thing is how to manage it in the future so that the group of mist can be used by us. Chenhui explained all the situation in Wurin village. After intense discussion, the plan for mastering Wunin village was finally decided. Now that the plan is finalized, let me talk about the third thing today, which is also a major event related to the real rise of Uchiha. With that said, Chenhui pushed the black scroll on his right hand forward. This is, Uchiha Penghai asked suspiciously. Chenhui smiled slightly and said, "This scroll contains a practice method specifically for Sharingan." The practice method for Sharingan. Uchiha Penghai was immediately moved, and then he quickly picked up the scroll to watch. And Chenhui also began to explain the role of scrolls to others. I think you all know that the opening and promotion of Sharingan is often accompanied by the painful experience of host. Everyone who is doing it started Sharingan only after losing precious things, or suffering a life and death crisis, and waiting for a major mental shock. Uchiha Peak and the others nodded in agreement. When they turned on Sharingan, they were indeed accompanied by unbearable past events. Upon seeing this, Chenhui continued, "But with this scroll, the opening and promotion of our Sharingan can be improved through systematic practice. Even if it is Mangekyo Sharingan, as long as you practice this method unremittingly, you will be able to start it easily when the training time meets the requirements." What? After Chenhui finished speaking, the clansmen below were in an uproar. In their minds, Mangekyo represents Uchiha's supreme power. Now Chenhui tells them that as long as they are willing to persevere in practice, they can obtain this supreme power. How can this not shock them? Upon seeing this, Chenhui calmly raised the teacup in front of him and took a small sip. Then, he turned his head to look at Uchiha Penghai, who had already finished reading the scroll and looked incredible. "Elder Penghai, since you have finished reading it, it is up to you to explain it for them." Hearing this, Uchiha Penghai came back to his senses. Then, he glanced at Chenhui with extreme respect and incredible eyes, and then slowly stood up. In between, Uchiha Penghai said with a serious face, "I have seen and tried the scroll that the patriarch gave me. I can clearly feel the improvement of pupil power. According to the scrolls, people of the tribe can practice as long as they reach 5 years old. After practicing this method, even the most ordinary people with talents can start Sharingan in 1 year, that is, when they are 6 years old. Then I can reach the 2 Go Jade at the age of 9, the 3 Go Jade at the age of 12, the Mangekyo at the age of 18, and the ultimate Sharingan at the age of 30 Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. At this point, you only need to practice this method for 25 years. Moreover, this is only the most ordinary people with talents. If the talents of those who practice this method are strong enough, they can reach the extreme of Sharingan earlier." Wow! Confirmed by Uchiha Penghai, the clansmen who were already shocked to the extreme couldn't help screaming. At this time, Uchiha asked, "I know Mangekyo Sharingan, but what is Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan?" Chenhui explained, "Although Mangekyo Sharingan is powerful, every time you use its pupil technique, it will consume a lot of pupil power. The pupil power of Mangekyo Sharingan is actually fixed. Once the pupil power is used up, the host will fall into a blind state. But Eternal Mangekyo is different. After reaching this level, not only the pupil power will be improved, but the used pupil power can be restored after a period of time, so there is no need to worry about the danger of blindness. And after practicing this method to open Mangekyo, even if you are blind because your pupils are exhausted before you open the Eternal Mangekyo, as long as you continue to practice unremittingly, you can regain the light after you meet the conditions to start the Eternal Mangekyo." That's it. Uchiha Peak suddenly came to a sudden. Chenhui smiled and continued. Uchiha Madara was blinded by excessive use of Mangekyo. But before his brother died, he gave his Mangekyo to Uchiha Madara, and Uchiha Madara instead opened the Eternal Mangekyo. So under normal circumstances, if you want to open the Eternal Mangekyo, you must transplant your brother's Mangekyo. But as long as you practice this method, none of this is a problem. After Chenhui finished speaking, the eyes of all the tribesmen looking at the scroll in Uchiha Penghai's hand suddenly became even more intense. At this time, Uchiha Penghai also turned and looked at Chenhui. "This scroll." Chenhui directly reached out and stopped Uchiha Penghai's words. "You don't need to ask me the origin of the scroll, you just say. With this, can we unify the world of ninja?" "Yes." Uchiha Penghai nodded firmly. "Including ordinary people, we now have 634 clansmen. Even if we don't do anything, after 25 years, in front of 634 pairs of Mangekyo, no one in the ninja world can resist my Uchiha unification of the ninja world. 25 years is too long." Chenhui stood up slowly. After last night's battle, many people were greatly stimulated. Some have gotten to the next level as a result, and some have always been one step behind. So I decided that all Uchiha people will take a month off and practice this scroll method together. After a month, the country of soldiers will send water. After that, I will dominate the world of forbearance within 10 years. Do you have confidence? Have. A group of people almost yelled out the word. Looking at the demoralized crowd, Chenhui nodded in satisfaction. However, at this moment, Uchiha's complexion changed suddenly. Then, he looked at Chenhui seriously and said, "There is news from Konoha. Just last night, the group of people who chose to stay in Konoha have been slaughtered by Itachi." Mount Uchiha quickly told the news he had received. Before leaving Konoha, Mt. Uchiha had left several of his shadow clone in Konoha, so that he could pass news to them as soon as possible. Just now, Konoha's shadow clone automatically disbanded, and what happened to Konoha during this period was passed on. Among them are the dirty water splashed by Sarutobi Hiruzen, and the news that the group of Uchiha left in Konoha was slaughtered. After listening to Uchiha's report, everyone in the house looked different. After a long silence, Chenhui's chuckle broke the silence. It doesn't seem to be what I expected, and staying with Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo made Konoha even more decay. It has only been so long since Sarutobi Hiruzen started to turn his face and refused to recognize people. A member of the tribe sighed, "It's just that I have pity the group of people who stayed in Konoha and fed the dog faithfully." When Uchiha heard the words, he sneered and said, "A group of guys who know the truth, they are not worth our pity." Chenhui said before, "They will pay for their choice. No, the price is coming." Chenhui waved his hand and said, "Okay, let's not talk about these unhappy things. Go down and prepare. In 1 month, I think you can all make progress a little bit." A group of people nodded their heads, and then turned and walked outside the house. They had to quickly inform the whole group of the results of this discussion. At this moment, Uchiha Peak walked up to Chenhui. He frowned and asked, "Sarutobi Hiruzen splashed all the dirty water on you. Konoha is so angry now. Don't we need to frighten them?" Chenhui waved his hand and said, "Sooner or later, it will be the people who are going to enter the soil, so let's be arrogant first. And those families in Konoha should already know the secrets of last night. I think they will make the right choice. As for the civilians, I never cared about their opinions. Okay, after a tiring night, go and rest." Uchiha nodded, then turned and walked out of the house. Soon there were only Chenhui and Uchiha Springs left in the house. "You have to practice hard too, but you can't be as lazy as you used to be." Chenhui rubbed Uchiha Kwan's little head. Uchiha Kwan smiled and said, "For the sake of brother Chenhui, I must practice hard. By the way, brother Chenhui, I saw that the swordsmanship you used before was so powerful and very handsome. I want to learn. Well, you have a good rest today, and I will teach you tomorrow." 1 month's time was fleeting, and Chenhui also began to lead his tribe to march towards the water country. In this month, Chenhui's cultivation method has spread to the whole family. Everyone from the elders to the 5-year-old children began to practice this secret method specially created for Uchiha. However, Chenhui did not expect these people to help him in a short time. After all, even the tribe of Sangoyu wanted to use this to open Mangekyo. It would take 6 years. Even if it is a genius, it is impossible to open it without 3 or 4 years. And after 3 or 4 years, Chenhui expected the most suitable time for action. So at that time, Chenhui will depend more on Chenhui alone. And these tribesmen have to wait for the ninja world to be settled before they can be effective. Chenhui knows the plot well, so his goal is also very ambitious. Since the Otsutsuki clan can feed on the entire universe, why can't he Uchiha? Dash 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 dash. In the evening, Terumi Mei returned home after a tiring day. In recent years, 4th Mizukage Yakura has gone crazy, and has been madly targeting the Bloodline family and Bloodline ninjas. In just a few years, the families that have existed since the establishment of One Village, the Ghost Lamp clan, the Kei Yoruichi clan, the Mizuki clan, and so on. These great clans in the ninja realm have just become history. In order to eliminate these bloodline families, the ordinary ninjas in One Village also suffered countless deaths and injuries. In the current fog of Ninja Village, even 3,000 ninjas are hard to get together. And not only that, there was even a weird ethos of, resolutely not being a ninja, in the village. So at this time, almost no one signed up for the ninja school, and it was useless. Terumi Mei naturally doesn't want to see one in village die slowly, but she is weak and unable to stop Yakura's tyranny. But even so, Terumi Mei is secretly gathering a group of like-minded Kiri shinobu. Not only for self-protection, but also for seeking opportunities to change one in village. But Yakura is strong, and it has captured everyone's hatred of war. So now, there are only 100 or 200 people willing to follow Terumi Mei. This is because she was recognized by Yuanshi. Master Yuan, the elder of Wuren village, has the same status as Mizukage. Thinking of this, Terumi Mei couldn't help sighing deeply. She is now no match for Yakura in terms of strength or influence. Therefore, she can only hide behind the scenes aggrieved, watching the decline of Tenten in one village but can't do anything. Terumi Mei shook her head and stopped thinking about these ruining things. Then, humming a relaxed tone, she walked slowly to the bathroom. Wow, the brisk whistle, accompanied by the sound of water, soon filled the room. Nearly half an hour later, Terumi Mei opened the bathroom door and walked out. But at this time, her whole body is not wispy. But this is my home, and Terumi Mei didn't care. She walked slowly to the big mirror in the living room and looked at the graceful figure in the mirror with admiration. After a while, she bit her lower lip slightly. Wume looked at herself in the mirror. With such a perfect body, I don't know which kid will be cheaper. After admiring herself for a while, Terumi Mei sighed heavily. Then, she said bitterly, 20 years, when will I meet my Prince Charming? But at this moment, Terumi Mei suddenly felt a breeze passing by. Her complexion changed suddenly, knowing that she closed the doors and windows on purpose. How could wind come in? Then, Terumi Mei quickly turned around, but found a strange figure standing in the middle of the living room at some point. Chenhui stared at the incomparably graceful figure with no wisps in front of him in amazement, and there was an imperceptible movement in his throat. He murmured, "It seems that I am here. Ah no, it's not the time." However, Terumi Mei was not as stunned as he was. Terumi Mei, who was originally very embarrassed and angry, looked at Chenhui with murderous expression on her face after hearing Chenhui's whisper to herself. She roared, "Dang the disciple! Give me death! Boil-style Chow Wu technique." In the next moment, a daunting white mist swiftly struck Chenhui. Seeing the white mist hit, Chenhui was unmoved. Terumi Mei couldn't help but sneered when she saw this. Her white mist was not as simple as blocking her vision. If you don't pay attention, you will lose a layer of skin. However, when Terumi Mei was ready to watch the show, Chenhui, who was about to be hit by Boil Style, disappeared instantly. Then Boil Style, which lost its target, hit the back wall directly, and in a short while, it corroded the entire wall to an absolute guts. So fast, Terumi Mei's eyes condensed suddenly. She didn't even notice how Chenhui disappeared at that moment. Where is it? Terumi Mei watched the surroundings vigilantly, but could not find Chenhui at all. However, at this moment, she suddenly felt an inexplicable thing enveloping herself in an instant. Behind, Terumi Mei didn't think too much, and kicked behind him with a whip. Snapped. A crisp voice sounded, and the leg that Terumi Mei attacked was captured by a pair of big hands. Chenhui wrapped Terumi Mei's body with a bedsheet with one hand, but grabbed her ankle tightly with the other. The postures of the two were indescribable. Then Chenhui's head stretched forward slightly and stopped at the side of Terumi Mei's ear. He whispered, "Your posture is indeed beautiful, but I think it's better to cover it, so that we can talk more easily. Otherwise, even if I am determined, I might do some bad things." Terumi Mei lowered her head when she heard the words, but found that it was the bedsheet that wrapped her in her bedroom. But even so, she still has no good face after being seen. Terumi Mei said coldly, "Let go." Chenhui heard this, but let go of Terumi Mei's ankle without saying a word. Then, without waiting for Terumi Mei to move, he instantly came to the undestroyed side of the living room and sat on the sofa very naturally. Space-time ninjutsu. This time, Terumi Mei finally guessed Chenhui's moves, but she became more vigilant. After all, in the world of shinobi, time and space have always been a mystery and incomprehensible endorsement. Konoha's fourth Hokage used this ability to gain power in the 3 wars, and has controlled the situation of multiple battlefields with his own power. So looking at Chenhui with an innocent face in front of him, Terumi Mei didn't dare to be careless at all. What is the origin of this guy? At this time, Chenhui seemed to see through Terumi Mei's mind. He introduced himself to Terumi Mei. My name is Chenhui, Uchiha Chenhui. Uchiha. Terumi Mei's pupils shrank upon hearing this. Then she asked in a cold voice, You Uchiha sneaked into my Kurigakure in the middle of the night. Couldn't Konoha want to fight my Kurigakure? Go to war. Chenhui pursed his lips. It seems that the internal problems of your Kurigakure are very serious. You haven't received any news so far. News? What news? Terumi Mei asked warily. Why don't you sit down first? I'm not used to always looking up at you. Chenhui stretched out his hand and motioned to Terumi Mei to come across. After a little thought, Terumi Mei walked slowly to the opposite of Chenhui. After all, she was at a disadvantage at this time, so it is better to observe the situation first. But as she walked around, she kept staring at Chenhui to prevent him from suddenly violent. Seeing Terumi Mei's cautious look, Chenhui couldn't help shrugging. Said, Don't be so vigilant, you have seen my ability just now, if I really want to shoot you, you won't be able to react. Terumi Mei also thought about it. Although she has already entered the shadow level at this time, she has no way to deal with the weird and difficult time and space abilities. But even so, Terumi Mei's vigilance has not been completely let down. After Terumi Mei sat down and faced Chenhui, she noticed the extremely young face of Chenhui in front of her. Looking at him, he is only 13 or 14 years old. Although he doesn't know how strong he is, but with that strange time and space ability, he can also cross the ninja world. Terumi Mei was secretly shocked. The person in front of her was too young to be too young. And Chenhui on the other side swept away, and he had completed the insight of Terumi Mei's attributes. Name: Terumi Mei. Bloodline: Boil style, lava style. Ninjutsu: Boil style Chow Mist technique, lava style solving monster technique, water style water array pillar, water style water dragon bomb. Chakra: Early shadows, combat power evaluation, early stage of the film. I just stepped into the shadow rank just now. Chenhui nodded, so the success rate of his plan is even higher. After a brief shock, Terumi Mei suddenly snorted and said, Looking at your relaxed and comfortable look, people who don't know think this is your home. Chenhui faintly explained, I am not malicious. It's not malicious to break into my house and spy on my secrets. Terumi Mei looked at Chenhui rather annoyed. It's true that it's mine to break into your home, but I didn't expect you to be like this at home. Chenhui shrugged and stopped talking. Terumi Mei was even more angry when she heard that. She snarled, This is my house, how do I want you to control it? I think we should continue the topic just now. Seeing that Terumi Mei was already on the verge of an outbreak, Chenhui immediately changed the subject very naturally. Just watching your reaction, you still don't know. No, it should be that fourth Mizukage hasn't told you what happened to Konoha a month ago, right? Terumi Mei calmed down a bit, then frowned and asked, What happened to Konoha a month ago? It's nothing, Chenhui said with a relaxed look. I led the Uchiha clan to defect and blew up Konoha before leaving. What? In just a few minutes tonight, Terumi Mei has been shocked by Chenhui several times. Now the whole ninja world has been heated up by this incident. I didn't expect Kurigakure, as the 5 great ninja village, that the people in the village have not received any news. It seems that your Mizukage protection work is done well. Terumi Mei didn't care about Chenhui's cynicism. She quickly analyzed the intention of Mizukage's behavior in her heart. But soon, she remembered that there was a dangerous person sitting opposite. So she quickly suppressed the shock in her heart and continued to look at Chenhui pretending to be plain. The acting is good, Chenhui said quite admiringly. Terumi Mei was unmoved. She asked faintly, You came to see me in the middle of the night, isn't it just to tell me this trivial matter, right? Chenhui nodded and said, Of course not, I'm here to talk about cooperation with you. Terumi Mei frowned slightly and said, As Konoha's rebel, you should also go to Mizukage to talk about cooperation. Why are you looking for me? Chenhui smiled slightly and said, Because I am more optimistic about you than Mizukage. What's more, the current Mizukage is just a manipulated puppet, I am not interested in him at all. What did you say? Terumi Mei stood up in shock immediately upon hearing this. Hey, be careful to run out. Chenhui raised her head and motioned Terumi Mei to look at her shoulder. Terumi Mei looked down, only to find that the sheet on his left shoulder had slipped down some time, revealing more than half of it that was indescribable. She suddenly pulled up the sheets in a panic, then raised her head and glared at Chenhui. Chenhui curled his lips and said, I haven't seen the panorama before. Why are you so nervous? Terumi Mei suddenly became anxious, and secretly said, if you hadn't had the space and time ability and I couldn't beat you, I would definitely let you feel the passion that can melt your bones. Terumi Mei took a few deep breaths, which was able to suppress the depression in her heart. Then, she asked seriously, what you said just now is true. Master Mizukage, is he really controlled? Didn't you have guessed it? Why do you want to make sure with me? Chenhui looked at her with a smile. Terumi Mei was speechless. Chenhui was right, she had speculated long ago that Yagura might be controlled by someone with ulterior motives. After all, as a companion who overturned third Mizukage, Terumi Mei is very familiar with Yagura. In the past few years, Yagura's personality has changed so much, until now, it is completely like a new person. So not long ago, Terumi Mei made a bold guess that Yagura may be controlled. Therefore, she also asked Ao to test, but Ao hasn't had a chance to approach Yagura yet. However, if according to the plot of the original book, maybe in a few months, Ching will confirm Terumi Mei's guess. Terumi Mei looked at Chenhui coldly and said, what is your purpose? You don't need to talk about the nonsense of cooperating with me, no matter whether you are sincere or not, I am not interested in cooperating with you. Don't make conclusions so early. Chenhui said indifferently. Why don't you listen to my cooperation plan first? Terumi Mei was silent, and Chenhui took advantage of the situation and began to talk about his cooperation plan. The person who controls Yagura now is actually a traitor to my Uchiha, named Uchiha Obito. You certainly don't know him either. He has a grudge against Wurin Village because Wurin Village once killed his beloved under a conspiracy. So when he awakened Mangekyo Sharingan, it was my eyes. Speaking of Chenhui, she also showed her Mangekyo Sharingan to Terumi Mei. What is Mangekyo Sharingan? Terumi Mei couldn't help asking. There are only a handful of people who know Mangekyo Sharingan in the ninja world, so Terumi Mei, who hasn't been in the world, naturally doesn't know. Chenhui casually explained. It is the re-evolution of 3 Tomo Sharingan. After awakening, he will have various extraordinary powers. We call it pupil technique. Then your space-time abilities are also pupil skills. Terumi Mei interrupted. Yes, Chenhui nodded. Then he continued. Perhaps if I say this, you are not very intuitive about Mangekyo's abilities. Let's put it this way, after I have Mangekyo, the tail beasts called disasters are nothing more than obedient pets in my eyes. Terumi Mei, who was originally surprised by Mangekyo Sharingan's weird pupil technique, suddenly widened her eyes. What is a tail beast? That's an absolute war machine. The tail beast relies on its huge size and various near-endless chakras. For ordinary ninjas, it is simply a disaster-like existence. In addition to 3 tails, one in village actually has 6 tails, but 3 tails has been subdued by Yagura. Terumi Mei saw the scene of 6 tails running away when he was a child, but it took thousands of ninjas to fight against it. And in order to suppress 6 tails, the village will pay hundreds of ninja lives every time. It is such a powerful tail beast that turned into a pet in Chenhui's mouth. After being shocked for a long time, Terumi Mei quickly grasped a key point. So, the one named Uchiha Obito relied on Mangekyo to control 4th Mizukage as the perfect Jinchuriki. Smart. Chenhui smiled and nodded. What a weird ability. Terumi Mei swallowed secretly. Then, Terumi Mei asked suspiciously. Since Mangekyo is so powerful, why don't you secretly control 4th Mizukage? Why should you come and cooperate with me? Because I find it troublesome. Chenhui shrugged. If I control 4th Mizukage, I have to find a way to prevent people from discovering his anomaly every day. And once someone finds out, according to my personality, will definitely kill. So for the sake of one in village, I can only choose to cooperate with you. Terumi Mei sneered and said, then I really should thank you for one in village. You are polite, Chenhui said with a smile. You, really shameless. The corners of Terumi Mei's mouth twitched constantly. Is she thankful for that? The atmosphere in the living room suddenly calmed down. Chenhui didn't care, but Terumi Mei couldn't stand it anymore. After hearing so much shocking news in a short moment, plus the mysterious Chenhui sitting beside her, her heart is not so calm on the surface. Finally, Terumi Mei could not help being the first to speak. What do you mean by cooperation? Yes, Terumi Mei compromised. If Chenhui is impatient and really chooses to control Yagura, then Three Tails adds a mysterious Chenhui. But this is not what one in village can resist. After all, as far as she knows, in addition to the perfect Jinchuriki Yagura, there is also the Six Tails Jinchuriki bubble that has defected. She is the only one. Chenhui smiled slightly, not surprised by Terumi Mei's choice. He said, the way to cooperate is very simple. In 3 days, I will take the people into Wuren village, and during this time, you can also gather your trusted men. At that time, you can spread the news that Mizukage is controlled, and then we work together to take down Mizukage and his men. After that, I can support you to become the 5th Mizukage, and you can also change one in village according to your own ideas. What about your conditions? Terumi Mei asked unmovedly. I don't think you are like someone who will suddenly be kind and willing to help me for free. Of course I also have my purpose. Chenhui smiled slightly. Naturally, he is not someone who will suddenly be kind, and his ultimate goal is to control the entire One-in village, including all the forces including the remaining 3,000 ninja troops. Otherwise, he won't have to go to great trouble to come to Terumi Mei to cooperate. If he just wants the resources and land of One-in village, he can easily capture this place alone. Chenhui changed his inattention and looked at Terumi Mei calmly and seriously. He said lightly, my purpose is very simple. After you become 5th Mizukage, I want you to lead the remaining Mizukage to join my camp. Your camp? What do you mean? Terumi Mei frowned and looked at Chenhui. Chenhui calmly said, it is to lead Wuren village and wait for my dispatch. Do you want to control the entire One-in village through me? Terumi Mei's eyes widened when he heard the words, and then suddenly stood up and glared at Chenhui. Don't be so excited, sit down and say. Chenhui waved his hand slightly. Manipulation is hard to talk about, it can barely be regarded as an investment, or commission. Investment, commission. Terumi Mei sat down slowly, only feeling more and more confused, feeling like she couldn't keep up with Chenhui's rhythm at all. Yes, Chenhui nodded, I have to do something. If there are a lot of ninjas to help during the period, the progress of this matter will be much faster. If you join my subordinate with Wuren village at this time, it will be an investment in me in advance. When this is done, you will get rich returns. As for the manipulation of 4th Mizukage and One-in village, as long as you join, it is naturally my business, and I will handle it properly. In fact, it's like I posted a mission to One-in village, but the reward for the mission will not be paid until my work is completed. When Chenhui said this, Terumi Mei immediately understood what Chenhui meant. But she didn't dare to be careless, and sneered tentatively, if it's just a simple commission, then why do you bother so hard? Speaking so intricately, I don't want to use my One-in village to achieve an ulterior secret. Cut. Chenhui didn't know that when he heard these words, he curled his lips in disdain. What is your attitude? Terumi Mei was furious. Chenhui sneered and said, what I want to do, I will secretly hide it from others. To tell you the truth, the power of One-in village can really help me a lot, but it's not really indispensable for you. Even without your help, I can lead the tribe to accomplish my goal. Moreover, there are always people who are greedy for life and fear of death in the ninja world. As long as I gather these people, they won't be much weaker than the now declining One-in village. At best, it takes a little more time. And if you are unwilling to cooperate, the big deal is that I will destroy your power and control your Mizukage. Although doing that may result in very few people in Wuren village willing to support me, but I don't care. Those who don't want to support, kill it. Terumi Mei gritted her teeth and looked at Chenhui, her eyes wishing to eat Chenhui. Are you threatening me? Chenhui calmly said. Threat is not to talk about, just let you recognize the situation. There are only 2 options in One-in village now. One is that you agree to cooperate with me, and then everyone is happy. When I complete my goal, you will get rich returns in One-in village. The second is that you refuse, and then I will solve you now. And in 3 days, I will bring the tribe into one village, and then control 4th Mizukage. In your village, those who are willing to surrender live, and those who are not willing to surrender die. Although you are very spine, I don't believe that everyone in Wurin village is like you. Even if there are only 1 or 200 or even fewer people willing to surrender at that time, I don't care, anyway, it's all in vain. Also, I'm not discussing with you. You. Hearing this, Terumi Mei glared at Chenhui. The full of anger made her breathless constantly, and the sheets on her body slipped down again at some unknown time, revealing a chun of light. At this moment, in Terumi Mei's heart, I can't wait to cut Chenhui immediately. But no matter what, her strength is low. Moreover, after the enhanced version of the blood fog policy, in Wurin village, the strong in the village died, defected and defected. Only in this way can the boy in front of him speak arrogantly and dare to threaten a village with his own power. Thinking of this, Terumi Mei sighed deeply in her heart. But she couldn't just sit and wait for death, so her brain quickly began to think about countermeasures. Soon, an idea came to mind. Suddenly, Terumi Mei's eyes lit up. Then she said coldly, "Don't want to lie to me, if you have absolute certainty in controlling one village, how can you sit here and ask for my opinion? The Uchiha Obito you mentioned also has Mangekyo Sharingan, and can control Yagura, so he must be a very tricky existence. Are you afraid that he will hinder you? I'm afraid of Obito. Ha 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 ha." Chenhui burst into laughter, and Terumi Mei suddenly felt a little bit bad. Chenhui finally stopped smiling, and then he looked at Terumi Mei jokingly. "Unexpectedly, you actually put your last hope on the biggest enemy in one village. But you don't know. Just a month ago, Obito and Konoha executives wanted to completely destroy the Uchiha clan. But even if he teamed up with several other shadow levels, a total of 5 shadow levels, he is not my opponent. Of those 5 people, 1 had my arms cut off, 1 had my eyes removed, and 1 had my heart pierced. You still think, can Obito save Uchiha village?" What? Hearing that, Terumi Mei was shocked. What did she hear? This 13 or 4-year-old boy in front of him actually defeated the 5 shadow level team attacks. Chenhui didn't care about the extremely shocked expression on Terumi Mei's face, he still said flatly, "That's it, speak your decision." Terumi Mei recovered and faced this difficult choice again. How much she wanted to reject Chenhui directly. But she knew that what Chenhui said before was the truth. Wurin village really couldn't cope with Chenhui's attack. After all, as long as Chenhui controls Yagura, he will be able to hold back the nearly 3,000 troops in Wurin village. After all, the remaining 3,000 fog ninjas, that is, a group of ordinary ninjas, most of the elite have been consumed in the battle to destroy the bloodline family. Not to mention that behind Chenhui, there are an unknown number of Uchiha people. In addition, Chenhui, who pretended to defeat the 5 shadow level team members. Once war begins, Wurin village's foundation for nearly 60 years will most likely be destroyed. And as Chenhui said, Wurin village is destroyed, and there will naturally be Wurin who are greedy for life and fear of death and choose to surrender. Moreover, Chenhui can choose another village. Although it takes a lot of time, it can always meet the expectations in his mind. But Ninja Village is really. Thinking of this, Terumi Mei suddenly hates it. She hates Uchiha Obito, who she has never seen before. Had it not been for Uchiha Obito to control Yagura and consume nearly 70% of one village's strength, she would not be so passive now. Terumi Mei smiled secretly. One of the 5 ninja villages, one village, was threatened to such an extent by one person. How ridiculous. Tell me about your mysterious purpose. Terumi Mei still compromised. There was no way she could not see the history of one village, which grew up in her childhood, and turned into a ninja world. Seeing Terumi Mei's compromise, Chenhui's mood suddenly became very happy. After all, being able to control one of the 5 ninja villages can also provide a lot of convenience for his plan. What do you say about the violation of Yongfeng Yin in Wurin village? It's okay. Chenhui will let them see what absolute strength is. And after Chenhui solved Yagura, Terumi Mei became the only shadow-level powerhouse in one village. This is also the step Chenhui prepares for the group of Wurin. After all, even the first strong Terumi Mei has surrendered, and the psychological pressure of other Mizuki surrenders will be much less. Coupled with the deterrence of absolute strength, Chenhui is sure to let more than 80% of Wuren take orders from him. This is why Chenhui tried his best to force Terumi Mei. After all, he didn't want to slaughter Wuren village directly without a last resort. When the matter was settled, Chenhui returned to his careless appearance. He said relaxedly, "Since the birth of the ninja, to be precise, since the birth of mankind, wars have been constantly launched because of inner greed. Especially after the birth of the ninja and the banning of the samurai, the severity of the war has increased exponentially. But everything was alleviated 60 years ago because Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara appeared at that time. Because they are afraid of the strength of these two people, the world of ninja has been in a rare peace for more than 10 years, during which time various large ninja villages have also been established. But when the two of them died, the ninja villages were ready to move again." "What are you talking about?" Terumi Mei frowned. But soon, Terumi Mei thought of a possibility, and her eyes widened. "Do you want to restore peace to the shinobi world?" "Almost." Chenhui nodded. "Hi." Terumi Mei took a breath. Then she suddenly changed her face and said in a strange tone, "I just opened my mouth and closed my mouth to wipe out the Wujin ninja village, and the words of Ninji Hepping came out of your mouth. I always feel very unreal." Chenhui was also angry. He said, "Now the major ninja villages in the ninja world are hostile to each other, and peace can't be created without leaving a bit of blood." Terumi Mei did not answer. After all, Chenhui said all the truth. After a moment of silence, she asked, "Then how are you going to act?" One ninja village will do it," Chenhui said relaxedly. "Nani?" Terumi Mei feels that the number of times she was shocked today is comparable to the total number of times she was shocked in the first half of her life. Chenhui always put on a relaxed and comfortable face, but the words in her mouth always made her mind turbulent. The corners of Terumi Mei's mouth twitched constantly, and she said angrily, "Do you think you are Uchiha Madara or Senju Hashirama? Even if you are leading the Uchiha clan, you probably won't be able to defeat Onin village at the peak. And at the peak of Onin village, compared to the powerful Konoha and Cloud Shinobi, there is also a big distance. So just because we want to take the entire ninja world with the current situation, it's just a dream. What if I have the strength of both of them?" Chenhui asked rhetorically. "But I didn't think," Terumi Mei just said faintly, "if you really have the strength of Uchiha Madara, will you escape Konoha with your tribe in embarrassment?" Chenhui smiled and was not ready to answer positively. After all, his strength increased dozens of times overnight, and Terumi Mei would not believe it. He said faintly, "I am really far from the level of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. They can fight the entire ninja realm with their own strength, and I can also fight 1 or 2 ninja villages alone now, and I can't hold them if there are more. But within 3 years." Speaking of this, Chenhui paused. Then he waved his hand and said, "Forget it, you won't believe it when you say it in the future." Chenhui stopped talking about this topic, but slowly stood up. "Since you have agreed to this cooperation, I hope you can keep your promise in 3 days." Terumi Mei stood up too when she saw this, only then did she notice that most of the sheets on her body had slipped off. She glared at Chenhui immediately, and then quickly wrapped herself tightly. "Tisk." Chenhui shook his head regretfully. Seeing this, Terumi Mei suddenly said in a cold voice, "What do I need to do in 3 days?" "Chenhui, just take your person and stand by and watch the show, lest you get hurt by mistake. Do you want to control Yakura and use 3 tails to deal with them?" Terumi Mei frowned and asked, a trace of anger in her heart again. Chenhui said faintly, "Don't worry, it's just 3,000 ordinary mist ninjas. I won't control 3 tails to deal with them. I know that you agreed to cooperate not because of my strength, but because I was worried that I would control 3 tails to make killings. So to give you peace of mind, I don't mind showing you the tip of the iceberg of my strength before leaving." With that, Chenhui appeared beside Terumi Mei instantly, and then put his hand on Terumi Mei's shoulder. Terumi Mei was shocked, and said anxiously, "You have to do." But before he finished speaking, Chenhui took him out of the room in an instant, and then appeared in the sky above Wuren village. "What do you want to do?" Being inexplicably close by Chenhui, Terumi Mei suddenly looked at him with a bad face. "Let you see, my little ninjutsu." Chenhui smiled slightly. Then he raised his right hand, and a small black ball instantly condensed in the palm of his hand. I have already agreed to cooperate, what else do you want to do with one in village? Terumi Mei was anxious when she saw this. She could feel that the black ball in Chenhui's hand contained an extremely terrifying force. Then she would shoot Chenhui if she didn't say anything. But she soon discovered that her whole body seemed to be imprisoned, except for her eyes and mouth. She couldn't move at all. At this time, the black ball in Chenhui's hand is also ready. He said faintly, "This trick is the big spiral wheel." After that, when he turned his hand, the black ball in his hand fell straight to the ground. Do not. Terumi Mei tried her best to stop her. She didn't dare to imagine what would happen if such a concentrated attack of energy fell to the ground. However, she can only watch the black ball keep falling to the ground. Boom. After a brief silence, a huge roar suddenly resounded through the sky. Then, Terumi Mei saw a white semicircular energy wave, which quickly spread to the surrounding area, covering the entire One-in village in a moment. She could clearly see that those houses were shattered instantly after being shrouded in energy waves. After a long time, when the energy wave dissipated, the originally prosperous One-in village had become a ruin. Terumi Mei stared at this scene blankly. Her heart was ashamed. Chenhui smiled and asked, "How powerful is my ninjutsu?" When he was in Konoha, because there were not many chakras at the time, he dared not play with such a powerful spiral wheel. But now it's different. Chenhui continues to merge Nine-Tails and Ashura's chakra, and the amount of chakra has already reached a terrifying level. So when you release this trick, you don't have to worry about anything. Now it seems that the power is very good. Devil. You devil. Terumi Mei kept muttering. Obviously, the bustling One-in village was still in the last second, and it became a ruin in the next second. The huge gap, coupled with the grief of the destruction of her home, made Terumi Mei's spirit instantly flustered. And Chenhui on the side seemed to be unaware of it. He smiled again and asked, "How powerful is my ninjutsu?" As soon as this statement came out, Terumi Mei suddenly recovered from the grief of the destruction of her home. "You." Terumi Mei glared at Chenhui and shouted in grief, "Didn't I have agreed to cooperate? Why do you still do this kind of thing? Is this what you call peace? This is the life of a whole village. Hundreds of thousands of people." Facing Terumi Mei's roaring questioning, Chenhui remained unmoved, still looking at Terumi Mei with a smile. After the roar, Terumi Mei, panting heavily, suddenly felt cold when he saw this. "Is this what you call peace? You are so cruel. Killed hundreds of thousands of people without blinking." At this time, Chenhui finally responded. He shrugged and said, "It's nothing more than destroying a village, it's not that it has never been done." Seeing this, Terumi Mei was speechless again. She didn't dare to imagine what kind of stone heart was hidden under Chenhui's 13 or 14-year-old face. Chenhui saw that Terumi Mei next to him had stopped moving, and suddenly turned his head to take a look. I saw Terumi Mei staring at him with a terrifying look at this moment, as if he would be swallowed in the next second. Seeing this, Chenhui couldn't help but rubbed his head with a headache. Then Chenhui sighed and said helplessly, "The most important thing for a ninja is to observe the changes in the surrounding environment. It's been such a long time since we met, haven't you noticed it yet?" What? Terumi Mei was taken aback when she heard the words, and then she seemed to have thought of something, and immediately looked down again. After observing for a while, she finally noticed something was wrong. It's too quiet below. Although Chenhui's attack was powerful, it would definitely not be able to smooth out everything in Wuren village. With the hundreds of thousands of people in Wuren village, there are always some lucky people or people with special physiques who can survive. Especially some powerful ninjas have a greater chance of surviving. After surviving, the injured among these survivors will definitely call out loudly, and will crawl out of the ruins after a while if they are not injured. Even those who are more vigilant will definitely find her and Chenhui extremely obvious in the air. But at this time, the One-in village below is quiet, as if there is no one inhabited at all. Uninhabited. Terumi Mei's heart trembled suddenly. Only then did she realize that something was wrong with One-in village tonight. It stands to reason that when she first met Chenhui, after she finished using the very dynamic boil style, she would definitely attract the attention of many patrolling ninjas or the surrounding residents. But at that time, she and Chenhui talked for so long, but no one came to visit. This is obviously very abnormal in the Misty Ninja Village, where the curfew is extremely serious and it is silent at night. Did you find it? Chenhui smiled slightly. Terumi Mei immediately asked, this is not Karenin Village. What the hell is going on? And why can't my body move? Untie it for me. Looking at Terumi Mei, who is like a blasted lion, Chenhui is not ready to continue teasing. After all, it was hard to get Terumi Mei to agree to cooperate. If she changes her mind because of this, Chenhui will be very upset. Although this is unlikely to happen. However, in order to prevent accidents, Chenhui still did not lift the ban on Terumi Mei. Chenhui smiled and said, this is indeed not Wuren Village. This space is a mirrored space that I built on the basis of Wuren Village. Everything in the space is no different from the outside world. The only difference is that all the rules of this space are made by me. Moreover, the destruction of this space will not affect the real Wuren Village outside. But the person who was pulled into this space by me died, they really are dead. Mirror space. A trace of confusion flashed in Terumi Mei's eyes, and it was the first time she had heard of the word. But the only thing she knew was that the blow just now was the warning Chenhui gave her. Once she violates Chenhui's instructions, maybe the outside Wuren Village will really become like this. Chenhui nodded, and then he waved to the bottom, and the scene below suddenly changed again. I saw that the ruins below began to disappear quickly, and then returned to the state before being attacked in a few moments. At the same time, Terumi Mei and Chenhui also fell on the ground. At this moment, Terumi Mei noticed that in front of them, two Anbu wearing masks were walking slowly. These two are the curfew inspectors arranged by Yakura. However, the two curfew personnel seemed to be unable to see Terumi Mei and Chenhui, and walked slowly beside Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei couldn't help but stretched out his hand and dangled in front of these two people, but the two of them went straight through Terumi Mei's arm. Obviously, although they are close in front of them, they are no longer in the same space as Terumi Mei. So amazing. Terumi Mei watched this scene in shock and muttered, even the legendary sage of six paths is nothing more than this, right? I begin to believe that you will surpass Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara in the future. I have always believed in myself. Chenhui shrugged. Then Chenhui snapped his fingers, and he and Terumi Mei instantly returned to their original room. After doing all this, Chenhui stretched. At the same time, he said lazily, remember to do nothing after 3 days, just stand by and watch the person with you. Then, he didn't give Terumi Mei a deep look. I hope you will keep your promise. This is your only opportunity in Wuren Village, otherwise. With that, Chenhui disappeared into the room instantly. Then, the room shattered like a mirror. But when the broken picture disappears, nothing has changed in the original. Terumi Mei knew that she had returned to the real world. At the same time, she also knows that Chenhui did not finish the second half of the sentence. If she breaks her promise, the scene just now will be the final fate of Wuren Village. Single quote. Terumi Mei sat down on the sofa with a decadent butt, and muttered, what the hell should I do? Before agreeing to Chenhui's terms, she was actually a deferment. But after seeing the scene where Wuren Village was turned into ruins, her thoughts completely disappeared. Terumi Mei thought quietly, but there was a mess in her mind. It wasn't until the first ray of sunlight came close to the room that Terumi Mei woke up with a shock. Before she knew it, she thought about it all night. But after this night of thinking, she also had an answer in her heart. Cooperating with Chenhui, perhaps Wuren Village will be destroyed because of this in the future, but it is also possible to get a brighter future. But if it refuses to accept it at this time, Wuren Village can only be destroyed. So Terumi Mei secretly made up his mind to let people in his department agree to cooperate with Chenhui anyway. As the only shadow class in Karenin Village, and against the high-level members of the Yakura series, Terumi Mei has this prestige and ability. At dawn, the curfew in Wuren Village will naturally be lifted. But Terumi Mei did not rest, but quickly changed clothes. Then he galloped in one direction. 3 days are fleeting. In Wuren Village, night has gradually fallen. For the residents of Wuren Village, this also means that the curfew has begun. So the villagers hurried to their homes, and before the last ray of sunlight disappeared completely, they returned to their homes and closed the doors and windows tightly. Under the blood fog policy, even these villagers are always worried about their lives. Especially after the curfew started, they would absolutely not dare to appear outside, because the inspectors arranged by Yagura would not care about your reasons. For them, after the curfew is opened, as long as people other than the inspectors appear on the street, there is only one word: kill. On the observation tower at the gate of Wurin village, 2 Wurin were lazily admiring the scenery outside the village. For the one and under the blood mist, this is the only safe and comfortable job in the village, so they cherish this rare time very much. After all, Wurin village is one of the 5 great ninja villages. How could anyone who dare not attack the base camp of Wurin village without opening his eyes? However, what the 2 people didn't know was that just behind them, a group of nearly 300 people had dispersed in the residential area on the edge of Wurin village. They are the only group of Wurin in Wurin village under the leadership of Terumi Mei who are willing to support her to overthrow the blood fog policy. Do you really choose to believe that Uchiha Chenhui? The old man looked at Terumi Mei beside him. He was the elder of Wurin village, Yuanshi. Although the Yuanshi at this time is old, but still able to show some strength. So he also came here with Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei said rather complicatedly, Master Yuan, I think this is the only opportunity for our Wurin village. If what Chenhui said is true, face Yagura who carries the general trend of Karinin village, plus Uchiha Obito who controls him behind his back. Only those of us can't resist the blood fog policy and continue to implement it. Especially now Chenhui is also eyeing Wurin village. The strength and weird space-time capabilities that Chenhui showed that night. I don't think Wurin village at this time has the power to fight him. So following his instructions, maybe this is the only way out for Wurin village. Master Yuan said in a deep voice, you are looking for a skin with a tiger. If you do not care about it, you will fall into the abyss of immortality. I know. Terumi Mei shook her head and said, but this is our only choice, isn't it? Yuanshi was silent. He believed very much in Terumi Mei, who was trained by one hand, and he also knew that Terumi Mei loved Wurin village. So although the information Terumi Mei said was incredible, he still chose to believe it. But in this way, leaving Wurin village under the control of others, Master Yuan is still very unwilling. And I haven't seen Chenhui make a move. Yuanshi always has a skeptical attitude towards Chenhui's strength. Therefore, Master Yuan continued. Although this is the case, the old man is still very unwilling to hand over the fate of Wurin village to a stranger like this. Since Uchiha Chenhui said that we don't need to take action, then we will sit on the sidelines and watch the tigers fight. If he can really easily solve Yagura and his thousands of Hei's shinobu, the old man has nothing to say. If he can't, or both lose, then. Speaking of this, a trace of killing intent flashed in Master Yuan's eyes. Terumi Mei nodded silently, but after seeing Chenhui's methods, she didn't think they had a chance to take advantage of the fisherman's profit. At this moment, Terumi Mei suddenly felt that beyond Wurin village in the distance, an immense momentum was slowly approaching. She suddenly said solemnly, Chenhui, coming. At the same time, Yagura in the village of Karinin also looked towards the entrance of the village with a sense of feeling. On the lookout tower, the 2 misters felt their chests stuffy inexplicably, as if they were being stared at by some scourge. Then, the 2 found that a black shadow was rapidly expanding in the thick fog in the distance. One of Wurin wanted to see what it was, so his teammate rang a warning bell vigilantly. Dangling. The crisp ringtones are so harsh in Wurin village under the curfew. Although the fog ninjas in the village didn't know what had happened, they hurried out to the entrance of the village. After all, the last time the bell rang was when the United Ghost Lantern clan rebelled. 100 meters away from Wurin village, Chenhui raised his head and glanced at the gate of Wurin village in front of him. Then he said faintly, since it has been discovered, let's go and say hello. Uchiha Peak on the side nodded, and then he immediately led a few clansmen and hurried to the gate of Wurin village. And Chenhui led the rest of the tribe, still walking forward unhurriedly. What he brought here this time is a clansman with the strength of Jonin in the clan. After a month of arduous practice, especially Chenhui directly opened up all the ninjas in the clan. The number of clan members and the number of people who have reached the level of Jonin has already broken the 100 mark. However, there are only more than 50 people who own 3 Tomo Sharingan. The rest are the Ergo Jade clan who have practiced Gaokyang ninja surgery and have advanced in strength. But this time, apart from Chenhui himself, he selected 100 of them and followed him to attack Wurin village. After all, although Chenhui is the head of the Uchiha clan, it does not mean that he is a nanny. Other Uchiha clan members also need to improve their strength. And Uchiha's strength can only improve by leaps and bounds in battle. This is why Konoha has rarely asked Uchiha to participate in wars in the 60 years since Konoha was founded. Don't you see that in the Sengoku era, even the Uchiha tribe can have shadow-level strength even if they only have a 3-go jade? And at that time, except for children, the remaining people almost all had the strength above the elite Chunin, and Jonin was also very common. At least 6 out of 10 have the strength of Jonin. After Konoha was established, the strongest Uchiha, except for a few people of this generation, could only reach the level of elite Jonin. It is difficult to make a Jonin out of 10 ninjas. And this generation of Uchiha Shisui, Uchiha Fugaku, and Uchiha Itachi have all experienced extremely cruel wars. This is Konoha's conspiracy against Uchiha. As a guard, Uchiha does not have to participate in the war. On the surface, it shows Uchiha's power in Konoha, but secretly it is restricting Uchiha's development. It also deepens the conflict between Uchiha and other villagers. Why don't you have to sacrifice Uchiha? However, some people of the tribe are grateful for it, and even proud of it. And these Uchiha people also paid the price of blood on the 16th. While thinking, Uchiha Peak and others also approached the gate of Wonin village. Then they stopped, raised their hands and threw dozens of kunai, straight to the gate of Wonin village. After seeing the exploding charms on the kunai tail, the two Mizuna on the watchtower suddenly changed their complexion, and then jumped off the tower without thinking about it. Boom! After a loud noise, the gate of Wonin village was blown out by a huge mouth. And with this loud noise, the entire Wonin village suddenly boiled. Soon, Chenhui led the remaining clansmen to the gate of Wurin village. Upon seeing this, Uchiha Peak and others turned around without hesitation and returned to the team. After arriving at the door of Wurin village, Chenhui stopped walking. Tonight's battle, he is going to solve it outside Wurin village. After all, after tonight, Wonin village will become his territory. If Chenhui was in the fight, he just accidentally damaged some places. After all, he could still be regarded as a deterrent to Wu Ren. But if he gets excited, he will accidentally destroy the entire Wonin village with full combat power, and he will have to solve the mess in the end. Although he can also use the mirror space, that would lose his sense of fanfare. If Wurin village is unscathed for a long time, Chenhui's deterrence against Wurin is much smaller. As a result, a crowd of people stood quietly 10 meters away from Wurin village. The clansmen behind Chenhui wanted to have a vigorous battle right now, but thinking of Chenhui's orders before, they still suppressed the impulse in their hearts. However, the eyes of this group of people looking at Wonin village are very enthusiastic and expectant. They have been eager to fight for a long time. A month ago, this group of people watched Chenhui make Kamui, but they were unable to provide any help to Chenhui. So for today's battle, their hearts are full of expectations. Wurin village didn't let them wait too long, and hundreds of Wurin had arrived at the entrance of the village one after another. And with the passage of time, there are more and more Wurin at the entrance of Wurin village, and the number of people has exceeded 1,000 in a moment. Terumi Mei and Yuanshi glanced at a group of people hidden in the dark outside Wonin village, and they led a group of them to join Wonin's ranks quietly. However, a group of them gathered together tightly, standing only on the edge of the Wujin army. Moreover, the location they chose was very delicate, and they could quickly get away from the Wujin army at any time. Chenhui turned aside Terumi Mei and didn't say a word. After all, he had already said in advance, tonight, Terumi Mei and the group only need to stand aside to watch his exhibition Kamui. Soon, all the powerful Wonin in Wonin village gathered together. Obito's blood fog policy has exhausted the elite of the entire Wurin village, but it also made the surviving group of Wurin more disciplined. But their strength is still very good. Which power are you? Why did you attack my Wonin village in the middle of the night? With a shout, Wonin's troops split instantly to form a channel. Then a man with green hair and purple pupils, holding a club, and resembling a 12 or 13-year-old boy, walked slowly in front of a crowd of Wu Ren. Fourth Mizukage, Chenhui murmured. At the same time, the system also listed the attributes of Yakura in front of Chenhui. Name: 3 Tails Jinchuriki, 3 Tails Jinchuriki. Bloodline: none. Ninjutsu: water style water mirror technique, water style great waterfall technique, wind style typhoon once passed, coral palm available in tailed beast state, tailed beast bomb available in full body tail state. Chakra, mid shadow, self peak of shadow, 3 tails. Combat power evaluation, mid shadow level, self late shadow level, tail beast mode. Seeing this, Chenhui nodded secretly. Yagura's strength is not bad. Then Chenhui faintly responded, the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Chenhui. Uchiha. When Yagura heard this, his pupils shrank, and he immediately remembered the secret report of Konoha that he had received a month ago. He secretly said, didn't Uchiha defect from Konoha? How come to one in village? Also, judging by their appearance, it is obvious that the visitors are not kind. Although Yagura is controlled by Obito, Obito only manipulates him subconsciously. So in addition to the hint given to him by Obito, Yagura still has autonomy. However, just as Yagura was thinking about it, the fat man with orange hair and a big knife wrapped in a giant bandage took action next to him. I saw him grinning, revealing extremely sharp, jagged teeth. He sternly said, you Uchiha clan are not staying in Konoha. Why do you come to our One-in village? And you dare to blow up the gate of my One-in village, does Konoha want to go to war with us? With a slight glance, Chenhui knew the identity of the fat man. The least lowest guy in Wujinin village, one of the first 7 ninjas, and the owner of the big sword Samahata Watermelon Mountain Puffer. At the same time Chenhui also noticed the young man with a shark face behind the Watermelon Mountain Puffer ghost. Name, Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish Ghost. Bloodline, none. Ninjutsu, Ninjutsu Needle Senbon, Water Style Water Body, Water Style Water Barrier. Chakra, Jonin Peak, Combat Power Evaluation. Jonin Peak, Self, Half-Step Shadow Level, using Samahata. Name, Hoshigaki Kisame. Bloodline, none. Ninjutsu, Water Style Water Prison Technique, Water Style Great Shark Ball Technique, Water Style Water Blasting Wave. Chakra, Jonin Peak, Combat Power Evaluation. Jonin Peak. However, Chenhui only glanced briefly, and after reading the attribute table given by the system, he looked away. Then Chenhui said faintly, this news has already spread in the ninja world, and you still don't know anything about Wu Ninja Village. It seems that Mizukage has done a good job of confidentiality, and even your most loyal lackey hasn't revealed it. What's the news? The Watermelon Mountain Puffer ghost suddenly frowned and asked. At the same time, he glanced at Yagura without a trace. Chenhui grinned and said, the news that the Uchiha clan destroyed Konoha and then defected. After hearing the words of the mist, the pupils suddenly shrank, and after a brief shock, they looked at Yagura in surprise. They didn't understand why Yagura chose to suppress this news. At this time, Yagura looked at Chenhui coldly and said, that's Konoha's business, I'm not interested in asking about it. Then he shouted sharply, and don't change the subject, tell me your purpose of coming to One-in village. If you can't explain it, I will let you know the fate of provoking One-in village. Chenhui said lightly, my purpose is very simple. Entrusted to kill you, and then correct the wrong path of One-in village these years. Killing me by entrustment. Yagura narrowed his eyes, and then glanced at the obvious group of Terumi Mei in the back corner. During this period, he also noticed that Terumi Mei had united some people and might secretly plot a rebellion. Originally, he was going to solve it after a while, but he didn't expect Terumi Mei to contact the defected Uchiha clan. However, Yagura sneered from the bottom of his heart, and said in secret, just take this opportunity to solve you. And I'm very curious about Uchiha's Sharingan. At this moment, Terumi Mei, who sensed that Yagura had revealed his murderous intent to them, immediately led his men away from the Mizuna group. At this time, the benefits of the standing position previously chosen by Terumi Mei became apparent. In a moment, a group of them appeared 100 meters away from the left side of Chenhui and Yagura. Seeing this, the crowd of Wu Ren suddenly understood that the entrusted by others in Chenhui's mouth refers to Terumi Mei. Upon seeing this, the Watermelon Puffer ghost suddenly shouted angrily, Terumi Mei. How dare you betray Mizukage-sama and One-in village? Terumi Mei suddenly sneered when he heard the words, the villain who sees profit and forgets righteousness, what right do you have to blame me here? You. The Watermelon Puffer fish ghost immediately glared at Terumi Mei, and at the same time grabbed Samahata behind him with his right hand, as if he was about to attack with a knife in the next moment. Seeing this, Terumi Mei still just looked at the fat man with disdain. The character of the watermelon puffer fish ghost Terumi Mei is very familiar. He who is unprofitable and can't afford it early will not have a confrontation with Terumi Mei because of this verbal dispute. His appearance at this time is nothing but acting for Yakura. Yakura naturally understood, so he stopped the watermelon mountain blowfish ghost with a casual wave. Yakura looked at Terumi Mei coldly and said, "Terumi Mei, although you are a bloodline ninja, I still treat you well. Moreover, when we overthrew third generation, we agreed to change One village together. But what do you mean by your behavior now?" Terumi Mei immediately shouted angrily after hearing the words, "Change the One village. Look at what the current One village has become. How can there be a little bit of the five great ninja village? If your policy continues to be implemented, Wurin village may become the history of the shinobi world in a few years." Yakura also shouted angrily, "Nonsense. Without the self-proclaimed bloodline family, the current One village orders and prohibitions, the cohesion is unprecedentedly high. In addition, the country of water is far away from the mainland and has abundant internal resources, and the village of Wurin under self-sufficiency has achieved real peace." "True peace," Terumi Mei sneered coldly. "It seems that the person who controls you not only controls your thinking, but also brainwashes you deeply, and even your thinking has become so naive." As soon as Terumi Mei said this, the entire Wujin army was in an uproar. Did they hear me right? Mizukage was actually controlled. Yakura was also furious when he heard this. "Don't spread rumors, I am the perfect Jinchuriki, but there is 3 tails in my body. There is no illusion in the ninja world that can work on me, you don't want to use it to shake my military spirit." When Terumi Mei heard the words, he said with disdain, "The frog at the bottom of the well." In the distance, Chenhui quietly watched Terumi Mei and Yakura compete, the two pointed at maiming, and even he was ignored by the two. And the group of Onin was also very confused at this time, not knowing which one to believe. But after hearing that Yakura took out Jinchuriki's identity, they immediately chose to believe in Yakura. After all, as we all know, neither Tail Beast nor Jinchuriki can be controlled by illusion. Chenhui watched this farce and soon lost interest. So he spoke to Terumi Mei faintly. "It's nothing more than a manipulated puppet. He won't recognize his true character until the control is released. So stop talking nonsense and let me solve him directly." As soon as this statement was made, the surrounding air suddenly condensed. Upon seeing this, Terumi Mei took a few steps back under the leadership of Master Yuan, without any intention of joining the battle. On the other hand, Chenhui and Yakura stared at each other. The war is about to start. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.